What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woo-hoo!
Hooray!
This week, we are going to look at a movie that we all watch. It's about a thing. Ryan Reynolds does his little things. It's The Adam Project. We're watching The Adam Project, everybody.
It's from the people who brought you Free Guy.
Yeah, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, it's
a movie that we all thought was pretty okay.
Yeah, you know, this makes Free Guy look great. A movie that mostly got along on its really interesting premise. An issue that maybe this movie has trouble with or seems to be missing some things on. But you guys, before we get to that, how's everybody doing? DJ, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Nando. We're in the middle of some March Madness, which is good.
March Badness, if you ask me.
More like March Baylorlessness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a dig right at Nando. I'm doing terrible. Like, my main teams aren't out, but like my brackets are just trash. I picked too many underdogs, and just there were a lot of favorites that won. So my want to pick underdogs did not help. So, but you know what? There was, I think, a new teaser for the Fantastic Beasts of Grindelwald. So,
DJ,
that
you read
exciting.
My mind.
Yes.
Diggins, how about you? How are you doing? And then we'll talk about a certain
I was doing great until it came up that we were going to be talking about Fantastic Beasts of Grindelwald, and now I'm like, oh no.
So that's actually not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about something else, but...
Oh no, I know what you want to talk about, and I still feel bad.
It's in the neighborhood. So you guys, and by the way, right now, as we are recording this, I am currently tied for first place in our bracket. That's going to change eventually because my team lost. Like my max total is very low. So it's looking like there's someone whose image of like their name of the bracket is like the Among Us guy, and their name is Totally Jack. They are currently winning or tied with me, so they'll probably win. It looks like it's between a couple people. I will say it's that person. Daymar, Day MVP, run a little bit behind, but you know it's still early, and their champion team is still in. Humbled Saxta, also running a little bit behind. Champion team still in. And then IMDb B is in bracket, tied with the Saxta. Also, final team is still in. So
it's a good
there's
name.
Other people doing well, but I would say those are high up people. But
yeah, it's I was worried that Nando, you were gonna win, and it was gonna be like a big scam.
I was worried too.
Yeah. So
how could it be a scam? What would the scam be? I fixed all of March Madness.
Yeah, exactly. If you were to win, Nando, what would you force us to watch that DJ and I would otherwise never agree to?
I don't know, because we've already done Speed Racer, which is like my usual one of those.
I know what I would pick if I won.
I should know this, but I guess this is how little thought I gave to it. I didn't even have one in mind. Then I was like, this is what it will be. I'm sure there's something great. What about you, Diggins? What would yours have been?
Oh, I would dig up some trash to force you guys to watch that normally you would never agree to, like Food Fight or something.
Oh, yeah, that would be one.
That's a good one.
I feel like for me, I would probably... maybe I'd find some more Quibi content. Maybe we would watch that Kevin Hart is an action hero movie or whatever. That would probably be what I would do. What about you, DJ? I don't know, are you still in it? Or did you also die a horrible
I mean,
death?
I didn't die, but there's no way I'm going to win. But so I was thinking about this, so I was between two. One was like, I would do a movie like Swing Vote, which is just like a movie that we would like never do, but it'd feel like a good, I don't know, just like troll the audience, which is bad. Or the other would be like...
I love trolling the audience.
Okay, and then the other one is like a movie that I like a lot, but I know is bad by general appeal, so like The Longest Yard, but like the Adam Sandler Longest Yard, like that movie I'd want to do.
That's a good movie, DJ.
I irrationally like that movie.
Don't pretend it's not a good movie. It's a great movie.
Do people think it's a good movie? I feel like people think it's a bad movie.
Absolutely not. But
Diggins, what do you think of The Longest Yard? The Adam Sandler version.
I don't think I've ever seen it. So
no, we should do it.
It's kind of like...
you know what? You know what movie I loved a lot as a child? that I could make us watch that would be a great thing to do for this, and it's not a good movie?
What?
Rat Race.
Oh, I love Rat Race.
That is a good one.
I'm winning the race. I'm winning the race. I used to watch that movie. I've seen that movie many times. You know what I might do if I win, and I won't, obviously, but if I had one, I don't know if you could do this. There's got to be a bootleg version of that Harry Potter play. Maybe I'd go watch that, because A, it would be way too long. It'd be like 4 hours long, and B, it would be wild, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of Harry Potter, you guys, besides the movie they're making that nobody wants, they're also making a game that nobody wants. I mean, people probably want the game. It's called Hogwarts Legacy. They put out a whole thing, like it's like gameplay and kind of explaining mechanics and stuff like that of it this week, and we also got some information about the plot.
Okay.
You guys,
Yeah.
Diggins, I feel like you made like kind of a face or like, over the air. Like when you heard we were talking about this, do you know what the plot is? Do you know who the villain of this game is?
Yes, Nando,
DJ,
and I could describe it if you would like. You see, the plot of Hogwarts Legacy is that you are a noble, pure human wizard who must defend, the innocent maiden witches from the deprivations of the filthy, disgusting, subhuman underclasses that consort with evil wizards to upend the true and noble and just ordering of society. Just because they were placed at the bottom where they belong.
Yeah. There's a goblin rebellion led by somebody named Ranrock, and they rebel, and that's bad for some reason.
They're like, we think it's bad that we are mistreated by wizards and that we are not allowed to have wands, and you humans hoard them all for yourselves. And that makes them the villains.
It's wild. And they're the one that's super anti-Semitic, too. Like, that kind of was lost on me on the original reading, because I kind of thought they were house elves when I first read it.
Yeah, you would think, I mean, I guess even the people who made this game, which includes a Gamergate or YouTuber.
I saw that, and that's the main person, I think, right? That's like,
it's one of the lead developers,
Yeah.
Even they were like, I don't think we could make putting down a slave revolt sympathetic.
But yeah, that's the thing with Ranrock, and I feel like I watched some of the video, but I've also seen some people talking about it, so I'm not positive about this, but I think part of the vibe, is like the goblins are rebelling and they're being led astray by the evil Ranrock, and I'm like, okay, well, first of all, what are they rebelling against? What? That you don't let them have stuff? Like, it's just so... It's never...
by legitimate injustices and grievances they have against wizarding society? Oh.
Yeah, like, what's the rebellion? You gotta explain that. But then also, it's like... They're not really... Like, by the end of the game, because Harry Potter... And it takes place in the 1800s as well. So it's another fucking prequel. But they have... Like, by the end of the game, they have to be like, oh, thank God, we have killed Grandmock or whatever, and now everyone can go back to doing what we did, because none of us actually wanted to do our rebellion. He tricked us. And that is insane.
You see, the average goblin, of course, while subhuman filth, knows its place and is happy to inhabit its natural place in the world order. In the hierarchy of society. It's only these rabble-rousers, these troublemakers, that make them think that they deserve more than what God has given them. That makes them, that causes all of this unpleasantness.
So here's my question. And I don't know in the 1800s of Hogwarts and stuff what the goblins' status actually was. Because, they're in charge of the banks in one of the books, or in some of the movies, and then that's, the most of them that we know. I want to say one of them's named Grimhook. Is that right? Is that somebody? We, spend a little bit of time with him in the movie.
Yeah, they spent a little bit of time with him the whole time intending to betray him, so it's
well, it's okay because he was trying to betray them, because they are duplicitous by nature. But anyway, the whole thing is like, so I don't know if they were also slaves, kind of like the house elves were, but
they're not slaves per se. It's that they're not allowed to use wands and generally just don't have all the rights that humans do.
Right. So which is worse? This, where it's like the subhuman race is rebelling and we have to kill their leader before they do that, or Fantastic Crimes at Grindelwald, we gotta make sure World War II happens. Grindelwald doesn't want to do that. Which one's worse?
Oh, fuck. I think the Goblin one's worse, but by a hair. They're both terrible.
I feel like the Goblin one is, the implications of it are worse because it is like this very direct, like, you are putting down a social order thing, whereas the Grindelwald one is just like, when you think about it, you're like, nobody in the wizard world cares about stopping World War II except maybe Grindelwald.
Yeah.
And like, you can sort of go around that, be like, Grindelwald's just saying that to recruit people to his wizard fascism. He doesn't really care or whatever. But this is very directly like, put down the filthy subhumans who think they're better than they are.
Yeah, I think the big difference for me, with the Grindelwald thing, it's interesting because he can see the future, and he's like, there's going to be a World War II. So it's like, it's weird because everyone seems to have that information, but from what we have to assume, the wizards do nothing about it. But the thing about this that's interesting to me is you play this game as I think, a 50-year Hogwarts student or something. So, like, I feel like there's something a little worse to me about the idea that the child has to end the slave rebellion or whatever, as opposed to the police fuck up don't do good job here. The idea that this is a child level problem to me is insane.
Yeah, that's a good point as well.
And the fact that the anti-Semitic one is back. Like, we're doing they couldn't just be the spiders are rebelling or something, or the centaurs. They picked the one that we all kind of know what's going on with. And even when some of us say it, like Jon Stewart, even then they apologize, we all know what's going on here.
Yeah,
so it's a weird one.
The powerful Joanne lobby forces them to apologize for saying that the wizards are an anti-Semitic caricature.
Yeah. Did you see that, DJ?
No, I did not.
Jon Stewart went on a whole rant because, like, on his show, they have
this was like months ago. By the way.
Yeah, it was part of their, I think, videos they do online that are not part of the show, but are just like kind of parts of the podcast that they release as videos. It's complicated.
Oh, sure.
But they were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, I remember watching this thing, and I was like, man, those bankers, that's a Jewish stereotype, and there's goblins and stuff. And then it got out, like, people started talking about it, because he was right.
Right.
And then a couple, like, maybe 1 week later, maybe 2 weeks later, he had a thing, and he was like, same kind of format. It was like, and also, everybody was saying that I think that J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter books are anti-Semitic, but I don't think that. That's not. That would be crazy to think. So yeah, it definitely seems like someone got him. Someone I don't know, held his little piggies at gunpoint and was like, right? Because that's what he does. He raises pigs or something. It's the best. He has the best retired life out of anybody. Goes to Congress and yells about 9/11 victims, and then raises pigs on a farm.
And talks about how the goblins in Harry Potter are anti-Semitic.
Yeah, still living the dream. If I could do 3 things for the rest of my life, yell at Congress, pet some pigs, and shit on J.K. Rowling, absolutely. Those are my top 3.
What about Gene Simmons' retired life? He probably has like a really sick retirement life, right?
Oh my
God.
God.
I think he's like killing it.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of Richard Simmons and how people think he's been kidnapped by his housekeeper.
No. Gene Simmons, lead singer from Kiss.
Wait, why has Richard Simmons been kidnapped by his housekeeper?
Why? Who can say? But
this is like a conspiracy theory going like way back.
Oh yeah, I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
Wait, which one's Richard Simmons? Who is that?
The exercise guy?
Yeah.
Oh, for a second, I thought I got it mixed up with Russell Simmons, and it still didn't make sense to me. But it's a different person.
We're just gonna word associate off of these names for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Russell Simmons, I thought you meant Russell Brand.
No, Russell Brand, I thought you meant Russell Crowe.
No, DJ, not Russell Crowe. You mean Crow, the Crow, the movie The Crow.
Brandon
Lee's The Crow.
The Crow. I thought you meant, this would have been better, the Russell Crowe, Kurt Russell.
It's true. Yeah, no, I love that.
I bet Kurt Russell probably also has a pretty good retirement plan.
I mean, out of the two of them, they're both making dumb movies that I'm sure they're having a blast making and getting big fat paychecks. So, to really
Can you imagine their quote?
Oh my god, their quote must be insane. We'll talk about not talk about quotes, but they at least Kurt Russell. No, yeah, is making a lot of that Netflix cash off those stupid Christmas movies. So.
You ever see interviews with John Carpenter lately where people ask him, like, how do you feel about people doing this, like, remake of your work or whatever? And his answer is like, I love it. I get a big check in the mail. It's the best.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I can't hate it one bit.
I have one Grindelwald question before we get off Grindelwald.
Sure.
I have like one. All right, so as I mentioned, there's been like a lot of teasers during March Madness because the March Madness crowd just gets crazy about Grindelwald. So I gotta capture that. While the act's
they
hot.
actually this year they almost renamed it to Grindelwald Madness.
I would have cried if I'm waiting for that for the corporate sponsorship to take over, like the just take over that stuff where it's not March Madness, it's Coke Madness.
Yeah, the things like the balls would be the ones from Quidditch or something.
Yeah,
there'd be a golden snitch on the field that if you catch it, you automatically win the basketball game. That'd be pretty sick.
Change the game forever. So no, I have a Grindelwald question. So we're like on our third Grindelwald movie and like third Grindelwald actor.
If you say so, I believe you, but
yeah.
My brain cannot process that sentence. Shutting down as we speak.
So Michelle made this point because we were watching the teasers. Why not? Because it's one of the rare movie franchises where you can do this when there's an actor change. Why not be like acknowledge it and be like, oh, Grindelwald keeps changing his appearance to avoid like the magic police and muggles and stuff like that. So he changes his appearance to like avoid people, and that's why he always looks like a different person. Every time we run into him, like why not acknowledge it? Because you're in the universe where like magic exists. Like they couldn't have done in Iron Man 2. It's like, oh, Rhodey looks different because blah 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 blah. Like they actually have an opportunity to like address that because of magic. Like why not address it?
Well, I think they pitched that to Joanne, and she was like, I don't think there's any real-life minorities I can slander with this character if we go that direction.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. If I can't be prejudiced, I don't see the point.
I honestly think it's probably because no one could even tell. Like, we know that it's Mads Mikkelsen and not Johnny Depp, but like I feel like people watch those movies, I assume, are mostly children. And they'd probably just be like, oh yeah, it's Grindelwald from the other ones. And then I'm like not sure, but I have a feeling the first scene of this next one will be Grindelwald giving some big speech where it starts with I, Grindelwald, the king of whatever the fuck.
Yeah, right.
Like just so all the kids were like, oh, I guess that's Grindelwald. And the movie's just gonna like, I don't know, gaslight him. What are we calling this? Like where they're just like, yeah, that's Grindelwald. What are you weird for thinking he looked much skinnier and younger and also I don't know, wasn't Swedish, but you're wrong. He was that the whole time.
I feel like it's just going to be, anyone who saw those first two movies, it's not like you remember them well enough to say that's not what Grindelwald looked like.
Exactly.
So,
that is true.
There's no need.
Yeah. I actually like this idea in a movie franchise I have no connection with, like the Harry Potters, but also this one specifically, where it's just like, see who does best. I have a little Grindelwald competition. At the end, we'll have 5 different actors, and we get to pick. We get to rank them.
The Grindelwaskers.
Yeah, exactly. They're all. The funny thing about it is, like, they're all kind of doing the same character. And I mean, we haven't seen that much, but like, I doubt Mads Mikkelsen's one will be as weird and ethereal as Johnny Depp's one. And then Colin Farrell's one was just kind of sort of a guy who was sinister, but it wasn't super clear what he was after.
To be fair about that that was just a Grindelwald disguise. He wasn't technically being Grindelwald, even though secretly he was.
That's true.
He was being the mysterious Graves, I think was his name, and he was fine. Listen, if that got him ingratiated with the Warner Brothers bosses and led to Penguin, then I guess it's worth it. But it's a good movie. The one that one is. Which one? Penguin? Yeah, I guess Batman is the best one. that he's done out of those two. Trying to think.
Now I want a Penguin movie with Colin Farrell.
It's coming. I mean, the show,
Yeah,
I mean, don't you remember like the rest of these shows? It's going to be a movie split into sixths or whatever.
Don't you remember when the Penguin was here last podcast and told you all about his show and how you better watch it or Two Finger Charlie's going to kill you?
You know what the problem is and I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I can't remember anything that happened before watching The Atom Project because it just, like, sucked a bunch of my brain memory out of my head.
It was
so
because
good. There and then it was gone.
Because time changed after you watched The Atom Project, and so all of your memories became different.
Someone gets it.
Something.
So, by killing Ryan Reynolds in the past, you've erased the Batman movie from the present, DJ. It's terrible what you've done. Or maybe you've changed the actor that plays Penguin. I don't know. But either way, you guys...
Mads Mikkelsen Penguin.
Yeah. Speaking of Mads Mikkelsen, and speaking of all of the actors from the Marvel stuff...
Was he in this movie? Was Mads Mikkelsen in this movie?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I didn't see him, but that doesn't mean he wasn't in it.
He had a cameo as the guest lecturer at the end?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. That would be fun. I mean, it wouldn't, but yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if he got paid, too. He seems like an overall decent dude. But yeah, guys, we are talking about The Atom Project.
Yeah.
It came out on Netflix maybe a week and a half ago. We all saw it.
Why did we do this movie, Nando? Someone on Twitter, I believe, suggested this death trap for us.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, it's the Atom Project. It's a good movie. The director of it got signed on to do Deadpool 3, so that's something.
He seems to have a good relationship with Ryan Reynolds, so there's that.
And I had seen good reviews of this, and I understand what they were meant. Like, I understand what they were saying, and I don't think those reviews were necessarily wrong. But, yeah, it didn't, because of reasons that I'm sure we'll get to, it didn't have quite the cultural moment you would expect from the biggest movie on the biggest streaming service in the world, but...
It was no Red Notice.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it was, it's weird, but we're doing it, so hooray. And you guys,
is that a lightsaber?
DJ, that would be crazy, DJ, because that joke is just so boring. Why would they even say that in the movie?
The answer is not really. I mean, it kind of sort of looks like it, but not in any real sense.
It's just a CGI thing. They honestly, I feel like that line makes kind of sense because he could be like, "Is that a lightsaber?" And Ryan Reynolds would be like, "I'm not sure what it's going to look like in the end." It's me holding a little baton, but there might be axes later. We're not sure. It both propels me and it can block shit. It's dope.
I would love if it was axes.
Yeah, who knows?
That would have been amazing.
Might be a whip. We're not quite sure. But yeah,
they told me to just spin it around and they'll figure it out in post.
Yeah, we got to talk about The Atom Project, you guys. This movie directed by Sean Levy, like we said, from Free Guy and in the future Deadpool. Stars Ryan Reynolds as oh boy, his character's named Big Adam in this, and then Walker Scobell as Young Adam. So it's got those two: Mark Ruffalo, Jennifer Garner, Zoe Saldana, Catherine Keener. Those are your big ones. Who wants to go first? Who goes first for the IMDb? B as in spelling bee? Because
I believe I have the choice.
You have the choice. Yes,
privilege.
I just want to go for it.
All right, let's do it.
Get it over with like a Band-Aid. Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Fuck. I don't assume that this is going to talk about the plot at all. So, all right, let's go for it. Oh boy. God, this stupid movie. Okay. When a man
loves a woman.
What does the man do? Yeah.
Was it Adam Reed? Was that the name?
Yes.
I believe that is the character's name.
Young Adam Reed must learn to come to grips with the death of his father, who was on the verge of a life-changing scientific experiment. When faced with a difficult choice, he will have to team up with an unlikely hero to change the course of history itself.
Okay, Diggins?
I was going to start with those exact three words, but I'm going to take a completely different tack because that's where DJ went.
Please do.
Adam Reed hotshot Time Force pilot, or whatever the fuck it's called, must go back into the past to right a terrible wrong, and ends up working with an unlikely ally, his own 12-year-old self.
Oh, yeah, Diggins by a mile.
Son of a bitch.
First of all, he got the whatever the fuck that was in there. It does say that. Yeah.
I mean, I screwed that so bad. Like, I should have had Diggins go first just to plagiarize.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
Dickens definitely had the right idea with how to frame it, and he got a bunch of the specifics. I wouldn't say, it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good. So,
And if the DJ, if you had made me go first, I would have done the young Adam Reed thing and gone from that angle. So really, I have you to thank for winning.
yeah.
Oh, well, I'll take it.
Well, here's what it was. It's after accidentally crash landing in 2022, time-traveling fighter pilot Adam Reed teams up with his 12-year-old self for a mission to save the future. So,
Okay.
teams up with his 12-year-old
Makes sense.
self, Adam Reed, fighter pilot, or whatever. You called him a pilot. You called him like a hotshot Time Force pilot, which is close enough.
Yeah, you crushed that, dude. You fucking crushed that.
Yeah.
I crushed you like a bug.
Yeah, like a time bug.
A time bug.
Like, you killed me outside of my own time, and I turned to dust or whatever, because it's complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Particle
I
effects.
admitted to my 12-year-old self that I'm murdering a bunch of people in front of him.
So, Diggins, you get to go first. What did you think of the Adam Project?
So, I was watching the Adam Project as it was going, and I was like, I had this compared to Red Notice for me in terms of just totally bland Netflix thing that is meant to be put on, and you don't think about it even a little. And I was watching it, and I was like, well, this feels like it has a little more going on than Red Notice. I mean, I wouldn't say I love it, but this is at least somewhat interesting. And then it kept going, and I was like, no, never mind about that. The thing I said, it was wrong. This movie's not very interesting. It has, for such a, not necessarily a wildly interesting, because it is a kind of a staple of the time travel genre, kind of, premise, but still, a somewhat out there sci-fi premise, at least. But it just doesn't do anything particularly interesting with it. And also, it feels like the movie never decides what it's about, like what the conflict, emotionally between the two selves is, because we just keep changing it. Like, first it's the mom, then it's the wife, then it's the dad, and we just never settle on anything long enough to really dig into it and get a sense for it beyond them just doing quips and then looking sad for a minute. And so it never coalesces into anything. It's just kind of, it's, like I said, it's something that's designed to just go down smooth. It has emotional beats, but it never gets too sad. Everybody's always quipping and joking, and that's like the main way we deliver exposition and character development, which, like, again, doesn't not exist, but is just very, very shallow in a way that's just uninteresting to me as a viewer. I don't know. I understand why people would like it, because it is, like I said, a very, very smooth experience to just kind of let wash over you, but it's just not a kind of thing that's for me.
Diggins? Or DJ, excuse me. DJ, what do you think about the Adam Project?
I had a lot of similar thoughts to Diggins. I think the one thing that stuck out for me, just in terms of how I experienced this movie, was like, so I know the child actor thing is like a tough thing to just discuss, because I assume every child actor is just trying their best and whatnot. But I think what the problem with this was is that it was two things. One, they were like, what if we had the 12-year-old do all of the quippy jokes and blah 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 blah? Except it's weird because that's no 12-year-old ever. I don't know, have you ever met a weirdly just sardonic, quippy 12-year-old who's like, oh, Jim, seems like you really had a rough day at the office, or be nice, you two kids, referring to my mom going out on a fucking date. It's just off. And then I think in general, right, like Diggins was saying, everyone in the movie kind of has that kind of feel, wrapping paper to it, but it was especially weird with the 12-year-olds. But then also, I don't know. I'm kind of finding this format to be tired. Like, oh, we're going to have the joke. Oh, you looked like an avocado fucked an overripe banana. And it's like, oh, man, it's just like the you look like jokes and the pointing out the obvious stuff jokes. And like, oh, man, you can't just make movies like this anymore. Like, I think we're getting to a point where, like, this style of humor by itself is, like, getting tired. Like, it was cool in a Deadpool movie to just do that for a whole movie, but now you need, like, another thing going on. Like, at least Free Guy had, like, another thing going on, but this movie has nothing else going on, so it felt pretty flat for me.
DJ, I think you'll find that this movie was left playing to an empty room by cats treading on the remote more than any other movie in the Netflix catalog this month. So I don't think you can. I don't think those kind of numbers lie.
That's right.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you. I didn't really like it, but also I just don't know what this is. Like, I'm kind of fascinated by this movie and Red Notice and Extraction and Kate and Old Guard, like, and the fucking Center of the Earth one they're doing next week or whatever, like, or what's it called? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't actually.
Sandra Bullock,
no
Channing
idea.
Tatum, like something.
Are they remaking The Core?
No. It reminds me of the Journey to the Center of the Earth ones, but
That would be a good movie for me to pick if I ever won a chance to pick something.
that would
Force
be
you
fun.
guys to watch The Core.
Yeah, I like The Core. Not really, but like I've seen it. I remember seeing it and being like, oh, great. What is this movie called? It's got Sandra Bullock. You remember her? The
I do
Lost
remember.
City. Yeah, we're getting that one
Oh, yeah, that's not Center of the Earth one. That's like a, what do you call it? Just like Jungle Adventure.
soon. Yeah,
Like
Jungle
Jumanji,
Bullshit.
but
Yeah.
without the video game angle.
That's right.
Instead, it's a romance novel angle.
Which, what a weird angle. Oh my god.
So, like, this and Red Notice and this Lost City and all those other ones I mentioned, I just don't know what these are. Like, I just don't get it. Like, we don't make these, usually. You know, like, these movies aren't... And I think maybe what it seems like is happening is, like, Netflix is taking all of the scripts that other people were like, I don't know, whatever. You know, we don't want to... Disney doesn't want to make this. It's not really that good. I don't know. We're not going to make this movie and then produce it and promote it. And, like, that's just not worth our time. And making them all. And they're all kind of boring. And they're fine, and some of them have better action than the other ones, and some of them have kind of an interesting premise, but they're all this, like, weird, star-driven, low-energy action movie where most of it takes place in houses and stuff, and I just don't get it. Like, what are we doing? Like, why are they making these movies? Obviously, we and the cats that stepped on the remotes watched them, but, like, how could this be that we had this in Red Notice, and I could not remember, and I watched both, I couldn't remember a single line, that, like, these are, the way we kind of make fun of Avatar, as, like, oh, no one ever quotes it, it doesn't, and that's true, it doesn't, no one does, but these are just, like, the same thing. Like, they leave no cultural impact, and they're all just kind of movies. I just don't get it. What is this? What did we watch?
A movie.
Did
We watched...
I feel like the
Yeah, I
filmmakers
think we
here
did.
are taking the ethos of, like, if you go to a national park or something, take only pictures, leave only footprints or whatever.
So what was this? Like, take views, leave only... what did we leave?
Nothing.
I don't know. Yeah.
Which, nothing, we left nothing.
Well, it's weird, because, like with this, and not even Red Notice, but, like, remember, because this is not Ryan Reynolds' second, this is his third one of these, because he was also in that movie Six Underground, the Michael Bay one of these.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, after this many, they're all, so, like, having seen them, they're all, competently made. They are, like with, and, like, this one, I think, more than most of the other ones, does make an effort to have something that I think I've seen people be like, oh, this movie was good. It made me so sad. Like, it's got a little bit of that. But, like, what? I just don't get it. How do these movies exist?
Netflix is just throwing darts at the wall and be like, something hit.
But none of us like it, right? Is it working for them?
According to the numbers that they only get to look at and exclusively control what gets released, and have every incentive to lie about and no reason not to lie about, they're working very well.
And why are they doing this? What happens in the? And I know there's been the
Nando,
joke of.
You sound on the verge of tears about this.
Yeah, this affected you.
I just don't get it. It's fascinating to me because 2-3 years ago, Netflix was the only game in town. It was Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. Every so often, one of them would throw a movie out, and then Disney shows up, and Disney is making movies that no one's really watching, like Lady and the Tramp movie and stuff, but it's got Mandalorian, and then it's got the Marvel stuff. So that's kind of the niche they're staking out. And then HBO shows up, and they're like, we're going to make original movies like Kimmy and I don't know, other stuff. And I guess what is Netflix doing? Because they seem like they're failing at this. They have to be, right?
I mean, no, because they have more money than God, so I don't know what failure looks like.
Actually, they have burned through so much of their money making these originals, and I don't think that they have a lot of new subscriber money or real gains to show for it, which is why
really?
you're having things now about why they might up the price and why they might, why they're going to crack down on password sharing. And that stuff like that.
Are we beginning to witness the decline of Netflix? Is this the moment where we all go, yeah, they're probably not going to be around in 5 years?
I don't know.
And
that's wait. That's a crazy take. That Netflix won't be around in 5 years? Get out of here. No way.
They might get bought. They probably won't not be around.
That's true. But and this was the week, maybe it was last week, but when Disney bought the Marvel shows back and took the Netflix name off them and put them on Disney Plus. What's stopping any other network that's I don't know, someone that kind of could do that or has something kind of similar that Warner Brothers would make? They go you know what, we're going to put that on our thing and start taking things away. But
I mean, does any other studio with its own streaming service have anything that major that they made with Netflix? Because they've already done the thing where they pull their back catalog and put it on their service.
I guess that's true.
Well, the one thing that Netflix did, which you could argue I don't know, just kind of made every other studio executive over the past I don't know, 6 or 7 years, or maybe 5 or 6 years, walk around and be wait a minute, we sold all of our content to Netflix for money. We should have just kept it and make our own streaming service because people sign up for anything. So now Netflix has had to rely a lot more on original content, which is difficult, right? Luckily they get a Bridgerton and this Squid Game that inflates the numbers, and then they do super well. But then they're fuck it, maybe we'll make a Atom project and hope that it does really well and get new subscribers and stuff like that. I don't know, but to your point, Netflix, Jesus Christ, to your point, Diggins, is there a price where Netflix sets the price point at it and it's this is impossible?
I think we've been doing this for long enough that we can reveal to the audience that my middle name is in fact Netflix, and I often go by it.
I think your parents did that for to get stocks in it, right? Real early on.
Well, Netflix did not even remotely exist when I was born, DJ.
Well, no, retroactively, because they still own you, I guess. Or did you do it yourself? Did you?
No, I was born. It's on my birth certificate. That's how I was born.
So this is a coincidence. Wow, shocking. Yeah. Very revelatory.
It's like how the guy Arnie Hammer and Arm & Hammer and all that stuff, it's a big coincidence.
He is actually the descendant of the Arm & Hammer man. It's not a coincidence at all.
Yes, but that person didn't name Arm & Hammer after himself. They bought the company that made Arm & Hammer bought the company Arm & Hammer, and that's the part of it that I think is so weird. As
fair enough.
You just assume they're, but now it's just Arm & Hammer, let's get that, and then someone's probably people gonna, oh yeah, I guess they will think. So you're eating people like Arnie Hammer, Diggins.
Yep. And there's a sexual component to it, I think.
That's what the Twitter DMs have said. The ones you sent me. And I don't approve, but I get it, Everybody's got their thing.
You don't want to yuck anyone's yums.
Oh, I'll yuck a yum all the way to the bank, but especially one that requires actual yumming, eating a person. Yum yum yum.
Yum 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 yum.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, back to Netflix for a second before we get back into Diggins' sexual transgressions and stuff.
Sins against God, I prefer the term.
Netflix, the thing about Netflix that's so fascinating to me is, every so often they have a viral hit, right? Like a Joe Exotic or Bridgerton or whatever. And I didn't watch Tiger King and I didn't watch Bridgerton, but like two of maybe the best shows I watched last year were Netflix shows, were Squid Game and Arcane, which was not like something I watched last year, but it was a show released last year. So like when it comes to shows, they're putting out really, really, really good stuff. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to movies, they're putting out just nothing. And some things they're making Mank, whatever, and they're making fucking Roma, I think was them. But for the most part, this is their brand. This is what they are advertising, and it's this. It's just these weird, star-driven, kind of nothing movies. It's fascinating.
Well, they're definitely hoping that Power of the Dog is going to finally get that Oscar they're so thirsty for, right?
I mean, they got an Oscar. Did they get one? Didn't Roma win? Or no, was that a Golden Globe?
No, Roma did not win.
Oh.
I don't think they've gotten that first Oscar. I think they've been like beaten at every fucking turn by, the movies that, they are always the favorite, and then, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, those, so.
Yeah, I mean, Power of the Dog, man, did that have a week this week.
No, yeah.
Amazing. Just, it's fascinating watching that self-immolation, and like stuff like that is just so good. But also, that movie's pretty good, but also, I don't know. I feel like the odds books seem to be leaning towards Coda now or something, or Don't Look Up, which is fascinating.
No way,
Isn't
really?
Don't Look Up a Netflix movie? So that would be...
That is
Oh, that's true.
Movie. That's true.
That would help.
Yeah, Don't Look Up is the Adam Project of this. Like, they're right on the same page. I don't know. Like, yeah, I just don't understand what Netflix is doing. It seems like they make 4, maybe 5 things. Really good original programming, like Squid Game. Arcane, they make a lot of video game related programming. Castlevania, Arcane. They have a Tekken show coming out. Like if there's a video game show, it's probably them. Although there's other people that are making some of it. They make really good prestige movies. They make really forgettable movies, and they make stuff for children. They make a lot of that too. Mm-hmm. It's just so weird though that this exists. It's so boring.
I wonder if their idea is like, look, talking about the Lost City movie, right? Like, there's a dumb popcorn movie that is released. Like, there, several dozen popcorn flicks that are released every year that get put in theaters. Maybe they're like, we can just put the popcorn flicks on our service. They'll get eyeballs. People will stay subscribed because maybe the cost-benefit analysis as well. Instead of going out to a movie to see a popcorn flick, I'll watch the Netflix popcorn flick because it's the same shit. Like, I don't know.
It's possible. Is there a higher bar for streaming movie or for theater movies now than streaming movies? Because I would be genuinely surprised if this was in a theater. Like, if this was only a theater movie and some, Warner Brothers was like, we got something for you guys, the Adam Project, I would be like, really? It just doesn't seem... It's probably because it doesn't have Spider-Man in it or whatever, but also it's just like, I don't know. It's so weird.
I actually don't think there is an appreciable difference. I don't know. If I saw the Adam Project as like, it's a theatrical release, I'd be like, okay. Like, I don't know. It's all trash, right? Like, I guess for this, it's like, what a weird team to make this kind of movie, right? Like, you would have expected something less vapid, but it's just, this movie's wholly uninteresting.
Yeah,
I enjoyed Free Guy as having like good jokes and like being kind of fun, but I wouldn't say it was the world's deepest movie.
Yeah, I think Free Guy benefited from having a concept that was able to create an aesthetic and do something new. And this movie
was kind of fun. And
it was fun. I think Free Guy was pretty good. Like,
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm saying like it was fun. I had fun with that movie, but Vapid is basically a movie like Free Guy when I don't like it.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
Free Guy was very much like this, a
Yeah.
movie that was about a lot of things, kind of. It was kind of about this and kind of about that, and then this one was like, yeah, it's time travel and being in love and dad and stuff, and I don't know. It's, yeah.
Yeah, it's just so, like, yeah, I mean, to your point, Nando, I can't imagine this being in theaters because I feel like the entire point of a movie like this existing is to be, like, disposable.
Yes,
You
right?
know.
Easily consumed and then kind of left.
Yeah, you just like, it's a Tuesday night and I don't want to think about the gnawing existential dread at the core of my being. What does Netflix showing? The Adam Project? We'll throw that on for an hour and 46 minutes. Why not? It's something to do.
I think with theaters, too, and this is maybe the difference between Netflix and I think we saw this a couple of times with, like, Cloverfield Project, and I forget which other ones they tried to do this with. Annihilation, I remember, was this, where a studio, because it feels like putting a movie in a theater for a studio is taking a bet, right? It's saying, like, I think that this movie we spent $50 million on is actually going to be a big hit and make us $300 million. And, like, that is going to be sweet. And then Netflix feels like the opposite of that, where it's just like, we made a movie for $300 million, and we are getting about $300 million worth. Like, it's like a salaried worker of a movie, kind of, but all the bad parts of that.
Oh, man.
Like,
that gig economy, man.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, salaried worker. Oh, I see
salaried
what you're
worker
saying.
versus tipped
That
worker.
makes sense.
And
Yeah.
but not that I think that means salaried workers are worse. But the idea is, like, that's why I don't think this would be a movie. Is I cannot imagine a movie studio going, like, I think if we put this in front of people and ask them to pay us for it, they will do that, and this will get buzz. I think this would roll in 2 weeks, maybe making as much as it costs to make, or maybe not. I don't know how much money it costs, but they love to talk about how expensive all these are now. So I kind of imagine it's in the 100 million range. Probably not, though, right? I don't know.
It probably
what could
is.
that possibly be going to?
They didn't do a lot of location shooting, but there's a lot of CGI and stuff and stunt work.
And, like, 5 actors that you can kind of name.
Hey, there's stuff. Okay, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, there's definitely 5 actors that are, like, big names.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting Zoe Saldana's in this movie.
Here's a question.
It's easy to forget a lot of points. Yeah, what's up, Diggins?
Every time I see Zoe Saldana's name, it has an Enya over the N, which would mean it's Zoe Saldana. But I've always heard her name pronounced Zoe Saldana, like in even like official stuff. So what's up with that?
Maybe she, like, simplified it because she was just like, it's not going to work. People aren't going to get it, but they still put it like that on, like, they still spell it like that, but she's like, you just pronounce it the way you think it's pronounced.
Could be.
I mean, I think we could do it. I think we could definitely, manage it as a society. But I mean, yeah, maybe she didn't think that originally. I don't know. But the movie is good.
No, it's not. Stop.
No, it's not. It's definitely
Zoe
not.
Saldana's role in the movie is certainly not good.
No, oh my God, no. I mean, yeah. Also, like, yeah, I don't know. It's funny how because it's like Terminator, right? Like, it has, like, vibes. Obviously, it's like similar time traveling movies.
I was gonna say, name a time travel movie: Terminator, Back to the Future. What else?
Primer.
Is there? Maybe not Primer, but all the like basic pop time travel stories that you know. It's all of those. It's all of them mixed together in a blender and served to you in a smoothie paste.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. Is it feels like it's kind of like you took Terminator and took all the cool shit out of it, and this is like the bones, the skeleton, not to mix a metaphor here.
The
but like
metallic
the
metallic underskeleton underneath the skin suit.
Yeah, it's like that, but then they didn't build the skin suit part. This is just this is Skynet trying to send a big metal skeleton in to kill Sarah Connor in the club and just blend right in by, like, having it do a Ryan Reynolds impersonation with its voice. But it's like, we know this isn't that. It's like this weird uncanny valley of movies to me. I don't know. I didn't like it. But yeah, let's talk about it, you guys. The Adam Project. It came out.
It did.
That's how we watched it.
We could all agree that it came out.
People saw it. It was their most watched bazillions of movie, whatever, who cares,
Mm-hmm. 30 billion people watched it for at least 5 non-continuous seconds. So...
Yeah. It's
good for Netflix, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see if this keeps going. But if it doesn't, I guess we'll see if Netflix keeps going. But if it doesn't, then this is part of why.
This will be the stone marking their grave.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys? Where do we start with this one? What's Adam? Also, here's a question. Let's do this. This is like a game we can play throughout the whole thing.
Okay.
I think this movie might have one of the worst titles of any movie I can remember in terms of just the dullest title
bad.
Possible. Let's try to think of other titles for this movie.
Okay. Other titles for this movie. I want to put time in it, like Time Jump.
Needle in a
needle in a time stack.
Well,
Time Jump a movie?
We'll never beat that name, obviously.
I don't think Time Jump is a movie, and fuck it. There was already Time Cop, and that movie was fine. Like, that works. Just going
let's go Time Jump.
Time Flight. Time Pilots.
Time Flight.
Adam and Meave?
Are they fucking? Ooh. Yeah, I feel like you could have gotten away with just Adam. I don't understand why the project is so important to it. It's like a fucking progressive rock band. Like, it's just so many words. And Adam is also pretty generic, but there's something about these Netflix movies too, and it's this and Red Notice, because Old Guard and Extraction are both based off of comic books or graphic novels or whatever. So that's where their titles come from. But these are just so sanitized, kind of clinical, Red Notice, The Adam Project. There's no personality in any of these titles.
And also, the titles refer to things that are not very important in the movies themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, not things that are not important, but things that are not a big part of what's happening. It turns out the big project that the dad invented time travel with is called the Atom Project, ATOM. But, that's not a fact that comes up very much, or the name is not really relevant to the movie.
Now I want this movie to be called the Atom Project. Maybe that would have been better.
Well, honestly, I feel like all of these Netflix movies could be called what they're called, their working title of untitled Ryan Reynolds time travel movie. That's what this is. Untitled Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot heist movie. There's no, and that's why it's so hard to find a title in these movies. It's what the fuck even is it?
Yeah.
What do you call it?
I get that.
Oh, it's so weird.
Well, but I mean, if that was really how it did it, would have a name like Snakes on a Plane.
And yeah, that would be dope. But yeah, Netflix.
You know what I got? You know what I got for you, Nando? You know what I got for you that might be some good talking points? I actually took notes during this movie, and you know what I have, Nando?
What do you have?
I have some fucking nitpicks.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a wheel, but nitpicks are good too.
Nitpicks and the wheel are the same thing. I mean, nitpicks and the wheel are totally different.
Yeah. Well, what are your nitpicks, DJ? Let's go over some of them, because I don't remember what happened.
Okay, so I guess I'll give some kind of framing, or maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. We'll go backwards if we have to. So I just want to start with Ryan Reynolds' part, because everything before he shows up is dreadfully boring to me. That's the other part. It takes, even though it takes maybe all of 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes wasted of Ryan Reynolds not being in this movie. I know it technically opens with him doing the jump, but then he's not in the movie and it's bad.
Yeah.
Little Adam in school and all the stuff with his mom is boring, and I don't care for it. Because I don't like Little Adam or his character. Again, the actor was fine, but I just don't care all that much for the character. Anyway, so okay, right? So, old Adam has to go back in time, because we'll talk about it. But he got shot and has a bullet wound, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that they pick a bullet wound to be a set, to be a thing throughout the whole entire movie, and sometimes it matters and sometimes it does not matter. Like, for a while I'm like, wow, this is like weirdly realistic, because like it would take a bullet wound like a long time to heal, but then like the first fight scene, he's just like, whatcha, flip, 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 oh, I'm so unbeatable, and it's like, never mind, this bullet wound went away, but oh, it's back again, and I just thought that was weird.
He injected himself with Batman's green fluid.
He did inject himself with Batman's green
sweet
fluid.
And tough.
So yeah, that's a nitpick that I had.
Yeah, there was a bullet wound, kind of. You're right about that.
I want to know how he got shot. Did he get shot in the ship? Did
he
get shot before going into the ship? I don't know.
I mean, that's a good question. I thought he got shot during the flight.
It must have been before, because you see him like reach down under his flight suit, which is not damaged, and be like, oh, blood, at the opening of the movie, right?
Yeah, so I guess it was beforehand.
That makes sense.
Also, if a bullet had pierced his ship while he was in the vacuum of space, he would have died.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Especially if a time ship, you know. There's also, if I remember correctly, and I probably don't, he's just in it, you know? Was he, like, covered in shit? Did he have a helmet?
No, he's just in it.
Okay. Cool.
Those ships are so good, Nando.
They are
you wouldn't believe it.
The thing is, they're just jets. Like, they're just jets that exist now, except they added some blinking lights to them.
Yeah.
It's a very...
fun little wormhole.
Yeah, it's a very unimaginative design.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing with this movie, right? Is that, like,
for sure.
It has no good ideas for being, like, your generic, like, yellow-paced time travel movie. It's like, yeah, it's a time travel movie. You've seen them.
It really
We're not gonna talk about it at all.
Yeah, like, I just, like, the parts where they're doing fighting and stuff and shooting each other, it is like they just grabbed guns and shit from other time travel movies. Like, and even... Not like in a laziness of, like, the CGI way, but in a laziness of, like, the design way. Like, we'll use the suits from fucking, I don't know. Not even like time travel movies. Just, like, all the bad guys look like Ready Player One bad guys. Obviously, the sword is a sword or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing interesting about the guns. Yeah. It's so weird.
But there's the lightsaber, and so it's the lightsaber, and it does the big jumpy jumps, and it's cool.
Yeah,
I'm looking to...
That is cool.
Diggins is really channeling Mr. Plinkett hard. Like a hard Mr. Plinkett channeling.
What? Is that the script?
Oh, man. Yeah, Sean Levy's going to come in and shoot Diggins halfway through the video or something. Or Ryan Reynolds would, and that would gel with how he usually does this thing. Hey, quick question: are we done with Ryan Reynolds? Not like done with, but like, is this too much?
No,
I feel like he's trending in a rock-like direction, where it's like, it's not that he's a bad performer or an uncharismatic person. It's just he's locked himself into these choices that are successful for him and do very well for him, and I understand why he makes them, but I just don't find interesting.
Yeah, and they're just him. Like, I could see a version of this movie where his character was different and tough and actually didn't do stupid jokes. And I don't know if that's what they wanted, but, like, I could see that being interesting a little bit. But it might as well just be his guy from fucking Red Notice. Just in this movie, he gets shot, so he's a little bummed. But all the rest of it's the same bullshit.
I think that's Diggins' point, right? Is that that is who Ryan Reynolds is now, and he'll be that until he's in like a Foxcatcher type movie, and is then different because he was in Foxcatcher. Yeah. So, you know, look out for that, everybody. I have another nitpick here.
Let's hear it.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
And this is like a really good one that I thought about.
Can you? I know it's not a wheel, but could you go like woo tick 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 just so I can feel that rush again.
Tick 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 tick. All right, it's landed on vitals needed to repair ship. Ding 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 ding. Okay, so this is from @Simple Carteria on Twitter. It's so dumb that the ship needs healthy vitals to even let the guy enter the ship, and that he couldn't take his wife with him for the same reason. It also seems possible that the future has really stupid convoluted technology, so maybe the whole thing checks out. Future technology sucks in this world.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the future in general.
Yeah, let's talk about the future. Yeah.
So, as this person points out, it's a very early plot point after Adam meets his younger self that he needs his younger self to open up the jet because the jet recognizes that he's been injured and won't let him in, which is a bizarre thing for like a combat person. Because, you think when you're injured, that's when you need to be let in so you can go away somewhere else. That's not where you got injured. But I guess not.
Also, like, what if you get injured while you're flying it? Bonk your head or something. Does this plane just shut off?
Well, it must have. It must keep going in those circumstances because he was shot. Wait, hold
true.
on. Now there's the question of. So we were saying he got shot before he went in because his flight suit wasn't damaged and the ship was okay. But if that were the case, then how did he get in the ship?
Oh my god, this movie sucks.
There's a very narrow window where the ship opened up, but he wasn't in it yet, where he could have gotten shot.
And he got shot, and then he was like, oh, thank God, at least I was in the ship. Otherwise, this would have been a whole thing.
Yeah, right? God, this would be so stupid.
But yeah, that is very dumb.
Yeah, it's a very stupid contrivance to have it so that he has to keep working with the kid.
But also, what is it scanning exactly?
So his
ahead,
vital
James.
signs. So it scans his DNA to make sure that he is the one opening the ship because it's keyed to him, and then also scans his vitals to make sure that he is fit to fly. I guess.
Mm-hmm. But at no point the computer goes like, "But also you're 12."
No,
well, he wouldn't know that he's 12, right?
I guess not. Yeah.
But if you assume that it's got like his current self as the baseline to compare itself to, because it must have something to compare it to, right?
Yeah, true.
Like, if it's comparing his 12-year-old self to his current self, it must be like, wow, your vitals are, like, dangerously weaker than they were.
That's true.
You definitely
God
can't
damn
be
it.
on this now.
Also, it seems like in this movie, time travel is, like, it's unusual in the world in the same way that, like, I don't know, a Concorde jet was unusual in the 90s or whenever those happened. Where, like, it exists, but not that many people use them, and Ryan Reynolds just happens to be one of the people that does. It feels like if you made time travel planes, you would do this. Like, you would do all this bullshit for checking that you're okay, and you would also check for this. It's a time travel plane.
Yeah, that's a
How
great
much
point.
work can it be to do a thumbprint scan and then check it's the same size? You just go through the multiverse picking up U's and then just blow up the whole, like, ugh.
He talks later about how you have your own quantum signature that wants to be in your correct time. Can't the ship scan for your quantum signature?
Yeah.
And make sure it lines up with what date it thinks it is?
Oh, my God. And so there's that, which, a contrivance to keep the kid in the movie. Although, you could just have... The kid could just be in it. Like, I don't understand. The kid goes back in time, but kids sneak on to shit all the time in movies. They stuck on a Santa Claus's fucking sleigh in that one movie. Kids are sneaky kids. But also,
or be like, you gotta come with me, because if I leave you behind here with all the bad guys, then they'll just kill you, and then I'll die, because that's how time works.
Yeah. But they go through all this bullshit, and it is just so they could leave Zoe Saldana behind, even though she sacrifices herself anyway, so it doesn't, like, it's not like she could have gone with them the way that they left. Somebody needed to stay behind to blow the whatever. But also, this movie has this weird convoluted thing when it comes to time travel in this sense, but then the other thing that kind of bugs me is, like, the movie has a really boring, like, attitude with time travel. Like, it's just, like, none of the things they do are interesting. Time travel...
Like, what, just going back in time to stop... to stop capitalism? That's all they're trying to do is stop capitalism.
Oh, I
These
love that.
monsters.
But, like, you got a fucking time travel movie, and we started in 2022. And we time traveled to 2012 or something?
18,
right? Yeah, even worse. Those are pretty much the same year. Who gives a shit? What's the point? If you do a time travel movie, you usually want to go to somewhere different. They went to the same thing.
And as I was saying, I want to talk about the future.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
talk about the future.
That is the one different time period that is involved in this movie, right? 2050 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Except, A, we never see it at all, because the only glimpse we get of the future is they're in space, and it's just him in his jet. And B, nobody ever really talks about what the future is like.
Hey, Diggins,
Yeah,
you seen
right?
Terminator 2? It's like
That's
that.
on a good day.
On a good day, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, what does that mean? Like, there's
Everything's
not
on
killer
fire
robots.
all the time.
Like, yeah, they imply the future is this really bad dystopia, but they never say how or why. It's just like, the future's bad, and that's why we gotta fix it. And it's like, okay, so making it so Maya, it doesn't have power? Maya's the villain. This is technically a twist, but also she only shows up after you know she's the villain, so, like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, okay, but then, like, how? What does she do that makes the future bad? How does this one person make 28 years in the future so terrible? And
I
like,
guess whatever the company it is Skynet. I don't know.
No, it's
Maybe.
even dumber than that. She invests in fossil fuel companies based on
Oh,
stocks
no.
and does a global warming that I guess already happened. Kind of like did they need her to invest in coal? That's not the problem. It's not the investments. It's the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't like firebomb a windmill or something that everyone liked, and then she just like invested in coal and bad things that did a global warming. It's another fucking movie that's not really about global warming, but it does know that global warming is something, so it definitely mentions it once or twice as part of it.
Tomorrow Ward us.
Yeah, it fucking Eternals does, kind of. Like,
yeah, that too.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is
Tomorrow
War is another one of these disposable Amazon Netflix just who cares movies.
Yeah. But like,
yeah,
it feels like it's drawing on the bad Biff 1980 from Back to the Future 2. But that that movie is it's a deliberately over the top thing, but also the main important thing is, why does this make my life personally so bad? And it's because Biff had this obsession with Marty's mom that in this bad future he forces her to marry him, and he killed his dad, and he's a stepdad and like mistreats him and whatever. So it's this whole like thing of, not only is the world itself so terrible because Biff is Donald Trump, but also
what?
like,
Wait a second, Jimmy Kimmel from 2015. Hold on a second there. Biff and Donald Trump are the same guy?
I know,
say?
it's crazy. I
Now
know.
that-
no one ever made that connection before
If
now.
only we knew.
I
Could have
know.
changed everything. Quick, get in the time jet. Fly into space. Try not to get shot on your way to the time jet. After that, it's fine.
Yeah. But then this one is just like, he just asserts that the future is bad and this is how we can stop it being bad. And then also, like, there's no particular reason she is responsible for his life being bad. I mean, she killed his wife or whatever, but we never see that, so it's like, it doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's not like she killed his dad just died normally, and then she got the stuff because he died. And it's like, this would have felt so much more personal if she was in some way responsible for that.
Yeah.
Like, if instead of her past, her future self, this is the main crux of the plot, her future self goes back in time to give her advice to how to end up being world ruler, but bad. And she has already changed the past, and they're going to unchange it. But, like, yeah, all she does is, like, go back and give her some stock tips or whatever.
Yeah.
If it was go back in time and be like, yeah, kill Mark Ruffalo and take over his technology, then that would be something,
Yeah.
That's what I thought the thing was gonna be, because obviously, like, I even thought at the end, like, it's like, you can't, like, tell me how I died. It's like, this is how it's gotta be. And I'm like, oh, the twist is gonna be that, like, Maya had him killed.
Right.
Nope. Can't be interesting.
Yeah.
He just dies.
And it's not even that, like, because there's a second of me that was like, okay, here's what's happening. He comes up with time travel, and she has to get it from her old self, and then she can kill him, and then she can do whatever she wants. So, like, she needs that specific, time travel formula that only he has in the past to kickstart the whole chain of whatever. But, yeah, it's not that at all. She already has it. She has all the stuff she needs to do time travel, and a big, giant, empty building that she can use to do it, kind of. Like, it's all just so boring. Oh, this movie. Remember parts? Like, how fucking... Has this... Like, what's the... Okay. So Terminator movies, it takes a couple of movies for them to actually be time travel movies where a character does time travel in them, right?
Yep.
Like, doesn't happen in the first one, doesn't happen in the second one.
Well, a character does time travel in the sense that we follow them. Like, we start in one time period and go to another. Because the robots, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers, are time traveling in 1 and 2, but that's just, they show up from the future, and, like, that's all that matters to us.
So, like, those, I would say they are time travel movies, but they're, action movies or horror movies or like suspense movies with a time travel element. But as far as, like, I don't know, your average time travel movie, like, that's usually part of the fun of it. It's crazy that we never went to the future to, like, refuel the jet or grab someone
really
helpful or something like that.
It's really bananas that none of that shit ever happened, right?
Well, we would have had to build a set if we did that, Nando.
Yeah, right?
We weren't willing to do more than one of those.
Like, yeah, this reminds me, I can't remember what this is. Like, what, I guess, maybe this is a comics thing? I feel like this has happened in a TV show recently, where, like, 3 versions of a character's self are sitting together trying to figure something out.
Mm-hmm.
What's the new Tim Allen show, or newer?
The one about the dad who has only daughters?
Yeah.
Does that happen in that?
It had a crossover with Home Improvement, and the 2 Tim Allens met.
Holy shit.
That's where it happened.
That's probably it, yeah. So when you do that, the fun of it is, like, having 3 of them, because with 2 of them, it's just bickering. Like, I don't know. There's no, like, Mark Ruffalo is the 3rd one of them, which is fine as a 3rd act thing. But just, like, there's 2 full acts of, and it's really like half a movie of just bickering, and then an action scene, and then we go get Mark Ruffalo, and there's still a lot of bickering to go. But, yeah, the dynamics between Ryan Reynolds and the kid don't really do anything interesting.
Yeah. It's like...
Yeah.
It's what I was saying before, a while ago. It's like the movie knows that there should be, like, this friction and these conflicts between them that, like, and issues they both have that they help each other resolve. But it just goes through all of that so quickly. Like, there's the bullying, and he lets him get beat up, but then he's like, but getting beat up is what makes you a tough guy like me. And then we never really come back to that. Yeah. He's like, you're mean to your mom, but she's doing a lot for you. And then he does... The one moment I actually kind of liked in this movie is when he's at the bar and talking to her.
Yeah,
I felt
that
like
was nice.
he was doing a good job acting that scene, and it was like this feels nice. Of like, this is a time travel thing. You go back and say the thing to your mom that you never said, but you wish you had.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like there. That's good. But then, like, we don't come back to that. Like, that's just resolved, even though he's the one who had that moment and not the kid, and the kid is the one who had the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they get to 2018, suddenly he's mad at the dad, even though that's never come up before, and he still wears the dad's watch and was wearing the dad's jacket. Like, I guess he never actually says, like, oh yeah, I still miss dad too. But it's very much what the movie wants you to think until his dad is there, and then he's like, oh, I'm mad at dad. I think he was a bad dad. I was like, since when? What?
Yeah, I don't know.
It zooms from scene to scene without really worrying about what happened to the last ones.
Yeah. Actually, I figured out what this was. It was, what this reminds me of is Dark. Did you guys ever watch that?
Oh, that's that German show, right?
Yes.
No.
By the end of that, it's like teams of people time traveling with each other, and it's like this version of yourself, and this version of yourself, and this version of somebody else, and it's like super convoluted. And like, I think that movie or that show kind of spins out in the third season, but like, yeah, it knows what the fun of time travel is. I mean, at their heart, yeah, like a time travel movie is like, in many ways, like it's about exploring and doing stuff. I hate time travel movies that are set in the present, like this, where like a character walks around and goes to the fucking drugstore. Like, that's all movies. Any movie is that. Why? Mm-hmm. And he's not that interesting. He doesn't have future speak. He doesn't not know. He doesn't use money, maybe, or he has it, but like, it's not like that's the only time that ever comes up where he's not like, oh, I'd like a flaxen of Zarbazab juice, and we don't have that here. Like, it doesn't do any of the things that time travel movie could do to make itself not just this.
I mean, the problem is he's not from far enough in the future to make those mistakes, because he remembers being 12 and what life was like then. So he's just like, yeah, I remember what it was like now. Obviously, this isn't my daily life anymore, but I'm not going to make any stupid mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think part of it, too, is, and we got into this a little bit with Red Notice, but like The Rock and all these actors, like, it does feel like in these movies they have to be cool most of the time. Like, and it's just like, Ryan Reynolds is pretty cool. He does nice things. He gets mad because he loves his dad too much, but then mostly, cool and tough and sweet, and does backflips and funny all the time. Has a girlfriend. It's just like, I don't know. Has
a wife.
Has a wife. That's true. Yeah.
There's nothing more motivating for an action hero than a dead wife. And Ryan Reynolds is lucky enough to have a double dead wife.
Yeah, she's a dead wife who isn't dead yet, but she's gonna be dead. She dies so many times. It's awesome. But they do have sex once, maybe, which amazing. Like, and the kid's like, I'll just go out here. Nah, stay in.
Gotta imagine my older self fucking.
Yeah, whatever. It's you. I don't know. Let's make this weird. Do that. Like,
he's like, oh yeah, in 28 years, I'm gonna get to fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it would have worked less, probably, but the way this character acted, it should have been like, he should have been 16. Or if you're gonna have a 12-year-old, you need a character who's like way more scared of everything and not like a quip master. Like, they can't both be quip masters, especially the 12-year-old.
See, I'll say this. I kind of like the kid as like a, not like Book of Henry fucking wonder kid, like a shitty Ryan Reynolds of a kid. I mean, it's annoying. It's very annoying, especially when there's two of them. But like, it works as a way to make the kid not just feel like every other kid actor. But yeah, I agree. He does feel like he should be older. It does feel like a weird bunch of problems for a 12-year-old to have. Well, I get a girlfriend. It's like, I guess. Did you want one? How much is this how much is this kind of your day to day? 12-year-old?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it would really even matter. If anything, it'd be more interesting if you did the other way. If he's like a 10-year-old and he's like, ew, cuties. I don't like this Zoe Saldana character. She's a girl. I mean, it wouldn't be that interesting, but at least it'd be something. I don't know.
It's a choice.
Well, the thing is, this kid feels, for the most part, like they just wrote a second Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't write a kid. They wrote Ryan Reynolds again, and then they just have a kid deliver the lines, and that's how you know he's a kid, because you look at him.
It's like, oh, it's a child.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Remember when... Was there a second where you were like, this mom wants to fuck Ryan Reynolds?
Yes. Oh, my God,
100%.
Yes.
I thought that's...
Deep dive the bar scene... So
I thought that's where that bar scene was going. Yeah, I thought it was going to be.
And I was like,
she's
yeah,
like, "Hey,
movie, you're doing something.
Hey, do you want to come back to my place?" And he could have been like, "Oh." I mean, that's still more Back to the Future stuff, but it would have been funny at least.
Yeah, right. It would be.
I was fucking chanting. I watched this movie with Michelle, and I was just chanting. I was like,
"Who's Michelle?" Who's Michelle for the new listeners?
Sorry, my wife, Michelle.
Thank you.
And I was just chanting, Oedipus, Oedipus, Oedipus. And she's like, fucking stop. This is gross. And I'm like, I know, but the movie's putting it out there.
Yeah. That would have been so funny if, like, that would have been so funny if, like, that happened and then they left and then they slept together, and this is like very, Futurama, but then also the next thing that happens in the movie is like another Ryan Reynolds kind of guy shows up from the past and is like, I know what you did. I'm like your son with mom. We're the same again because the genes didn't change. But like, here I am now. And we had a new Ryan Reynolds who was like the time travel incest Ryan Reynolds, and just kept making Ryan Reynoldses.
And they kept getting more and more show up as the new one shows up and accidentally sleeps with their mom because they don't remember what she looks like. And then they keep having new Ryan Reynoldses.
Yeah. Just like, and that's how they get out of the problem. Ryan Reynolds is like, all right, I know what I have to do.
I sent wave after wave of Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, my God. I mean, yeah. And it's also, I guess, the other time travel movie that's just way better than this, like Bill and Ted. It's the same kind of thing where, like, by the end, Bill kind of he comes up with Ted comes up with the ideas where he's like, okay, if I remember to move the trash can to here, then it will be there. And then it is. And, like, this just doesn't do any of that. Just, like, goes to time travel shit. I don't know. Movie stinks.
It actually, I wonder why this is a time travel movie to begin with. Because, like, you could have a movie here that isn't time travel. Like, you could have, like, another premise, like cloning or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, at the end of the day, it's like, we just gotta stop the bad guy from doing the thing. And, it could have been fucking clones. It's like, oh, we could clone Dad. Make it Onward. I don't care. It's like...
Yeah, that's very Onward-y.
But, like, this sucked. Like, I would have enjoyed any other attempt at, something interesting besides this,
Yeah.
I just felt like it sucked so much.
You know what? There's also, speaking of the mom wanting to fuck Ryan Reynolds, because she definitely did, and she went home that night, and, it was some weird shit was going on in that house. But also, there's a second where he's leaving the bar, and she gives him a look, and I'm like, oh, is she going to figure it out? Like... Is she part of the time travel thing now because she's kind of clever? And that's a little bit different, too. But that wasn't what happened.
No.
She was just like...
Silly, Nando. Only men are smart enough to instantly figure out time travel.
Yeah. I mean, we are pretty smart. And women are bad when they do it. And we have to have them shoot themselves. Kind of.
Oh, God. I have a nitpick here about that.
We will get there. Let's wait till the end of the movie. But I also, yes, I agree with that nitpick.
Let me look at. Let's hear some stuff.
So I got another one here that's like very interesting, kind of moving along with the pace of the movie. So we get to a point where it's like the time travel chases on, where like right now it's like Maya's going after them, and then there's the other guy who shot Ryan Reynolds, and they're all kind of like coming after each other. So there's a point where like the old Maya, it was like, you're all, like, family to me. I would, like, never hurt you. And I was like, okay, is this, like, the bad guy? And then she just, like, points the gun right at him. And I'm like, oh, man, this is, like, such a bad guy. And it's like, I don't know, this movie did, like, a pretty crappy job of transitioning to, like, the, hey, what's going on in this movie? To the, okay, this is exactly what's going on in this movie. Like, no nuance. No deft touch did this movie have, when trying to have the interaction between our heroes and villains.
I mean, yeah.
It's like I will literally shoot a child to, and it comes up multiple times. Believe it or not, I would literally shoot a child to make this problem go away. So, yeah.
I've never done time travel. To be fair, but if I did,
if
I was her, sweet. What did you? So let's say you had a problem like this to solve as a veteran time traveler. Mm-hmm. Would you go to later than he was there, or before Ryan Reynolds was there?
Oh no, I would show up at exactly the moment that he's going to pull off the plan, so that I can try to stop it while it's in motion.
That's no, Diggins.
Yeah, no, because
you've made the classic blunder of time travel, which is viewing the movie chronologically. Because, I get that Ryan Reynolds is out of time juice or whatever, and he can't do as many time jumps as he wants. But I assume she can. What is she following him to this timeline, and why? I don't understand what these people think time travel is. Like, yeah.
Speaking of them not understanding time travel, you know what I also expected them to do and they never did? Was once they get to 2018, go find 2018 Zoe Saldana and get her to help them.
Yes! thought that too.
And then then you have the tension of you're working with someone who you know is going to die in 4 years. Doubled. It's the dad and Zoe Saldana. It's like, we need to warn you guys, but I mean, like, you could say, like, but that's the paradox. She didn't say, but she had met them before. But A, she could just not say it because she is a time traveler and knows how this stuff works. And B, you're erasing time travel from existence anyway. You're changing all of this. Who cares?
Right. Also,
but are they, though?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe, but also
based on some stuff that happens in the movie, I'm not convinced.
You could also just fucking go to the fucking kid, get the kid. Like, there's a 2018 kid there too.
But he would have been useless. He was just playing his video games.
But you could kill him.
What had he done? Oh, the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Very killable.
They seem to know how that works. But yeah, they just they're such bad time travel villains. Like,
well,
they're so dumb.
Do we know what it takes to do a time travel? Like, how much crypto farming is equated to, like,
oh my gosh,
doing a
the
time
blockchain
travel?
is definitely part of it. Absolutely. Yeah, you have to do a whole proof of work or whatever before you can fly into the future.
Yeah, that's the thing is, there are 3 things the ship scans for before it lets you on. It scans for your DNA, for your vital signs, and also if you are in possession of the NFT that was minted alongside this jet, that proves that you are its pilot.
Yeah. Digital ownership's going to be huge with time travel.
So yeah, they go to the past or something. They're first, okay, here's a question. It's not a lightsaber, but what is it?
Like a quarterstaff, I'd call it, like a laser quarterstaff, but also propulsion thingies.
Plasma rod.
That's a good one for it.
That'd be so funny.
I like plasma rod.
What do you think? Like, the kid's like, it's a lightsaber. He's like, it's not a lightsaber, and it's like, okay, but it does lightsaber stuff and it lights up. So, who cares? But this movie is boring. So.
But he has the Darth Maul twin saber.
Yeah.
Like, his is double bladed on either end, whereas Christos, the second in command villain, who is such a strong personality that we all remembered it and have mentioned him before this exact moment. He has the dual lightsabers.
Yeah, that was good that they had him.
Guys, let's talk about Christos and his incredibly deep and involved character.
I've been waiting this whole time.
DJ,
to talk about Christos.
Break some Christos stuff out on us.
All right. Well, Christos is obviously Adam's rival from the Academy.
Yeah, that's right.
Who Adam stole his wife from Christos. And that's why they hate each other.
That is not contradicted by anything anyone says in the movie.
Yeah. And also, one time in math class, Christos got a math problem wrong, and Adam said, "Hey, everyone, Christos a fucking moron!" And everyone started laughing at Christos. So he ran outside, and then he slipped on, like, a puddle that was being mopped in the hallway, and then he hit, like, a sink, and then he fell down, and that's how he got the scar on his face.
Oh, I figured that because it looks like a burn, I figured just that sick burn that Ryan Reynolds delivered was just so intense that it just the side of his face just caught fire.
Yeah, exactly.
He was so cool, that Christos or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
I liked how he had a car and some guns.
He did have a car and guns.
And sometimes he looked at Ryan Reynolds with an angry expression and was like, "I want to kill you."
Hey, where'd they get those scars?
Hertz.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
May as well.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't really talked about the spaceships that much either. They're jets, but, like, whatever. They got all the fucking bells and whistles, man.
Yeah, they got big, unmarked white vans, or that they... carry all the generic mooks that aren't Christos that we can just kill without remorse.
Those guys, I was like, remember when someone, probably Christos, I don't remember, was in the van with them, or like was there, and they're like, because these are the guys that I think look like the ones from Ready Player One, the bad guys. And like, all right, your mission is...
Well, you mean the Sixers, or as our hero likes to call them, the Sucksors.
The Sucksors. Oh, that movie is better than this one. Yeah, the Sucksors. Like, when they say that, it's like, all right, your mission is to kill Ryan Reynolds. And they all turn at the same time. And I'm like, oh, they're robots, okay. But they weren't robots, right? They were guys?
Yeah, no, they were people. Ryan. So this was a funny series of thoughts I had in their timing, where the first action sequence happens, and Ryan Reynolds is fighting his way through, and he's just, like, hitting the dudes, and they, like, fall down, like, knocking them out or whatever, and he's got a stun thing that he's hitting them with that makes them fall over. And I was like, oh, he's with a kid. This is like a movie that's supposed to be like adults and kids, probably. It makes sense that he's not doing any murders. He's just knocking all these people out. Like, yeah, I get that. You know, that makes a lot of sense for this movie. And then 5 seconds after I had that thought, he pulls out the lightsaber and starts straight murdering dudes. And not only is straight murdering dudes, but explicitly says to the young kid, because when people die outside of their time, they, like, explode into multicolored flashes for a second, which does look kind of cool. I'll give the movie that. And the kid's like, what's that? And Ryan Reynolds just goes, that's when you die outside of your time, weird stuff happens. And I say die because I'm straight murdering these guys. I am, like, fully serial killer style mass murdering right now. Just so many dead bodies because of me. These men have families, and they'll never see them again. Probably won't even know what happened because this is all classified. But don't worry about that, 12-year-old me. You just murder like it's nothing when you're older.
I mean, 12-year-old me is going to murder like it's nothing in about 20 minutes of movie or whatever. Because he goes on a killing spree as well.
Well, yeah, but he has the abstraction of a drone, and of course, as we saw earlier in the movie, he plays all the dang video games that desensitize it. You know, that the government has explicitly made to train us to be drone killers.
I was
like
gonna say,
like all the nice people in the early 2000s tried to warn me about video games.
That's right. Yeah, drones don't count, and the kid knows that. Good for him. I did want to say, yeah, there was a part of me that when he was killing those guys even, I didn't quite absorb I had to watch that bit again because I was confused that he was killing them. I just assumed he was, like, breaking their suit or something. You know, like a capture the flag kind of thing where if you break your time regulator, you just go back to the time you're from. And that was what it was. And that seemed like the kind of thing this movie would do. But you're right, he does say he's killing them all.
That would make sense, too, right? To, like, have that be the case instead of, like, murder.
Yeah, and it's just, like, it's cleaner, it's simple. Like, and, yeah. Because also, yeah, they seem like robots. Why did they all do the head turn at the same time? They just trained? Did they learn that in school?
We will do this head turn when it happens at this time.
They were all waiting, like, because whatever his name is, I already forgot. Blanco
like
or whatever.
Improv Everywhere, where you all get, like, little earpieces that tell you what to do at precise moments. Yeah, they had one of those little earpieces in that, and like at that exact moment, they hear a voice that goes like, "Okay, turn right now."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That'd be so funny if they went to... That would be funny if they went back to...
Remember Improv Everywhere, guys?
Yeah, I was going to say, if they went back to 2012 and they had to go through, like, a flash mob, and they're like, ew, that's right, these were going then. Ugh.
Like, yeah,
even just 2012 would be a time period where you could make some kind of, like, old jokes. People would be like, yeah, that was going on back then. Whereas, like you were saying, 2018 is nothing.
Yeah. I still think it's 2018. There's very little about my life that couldn't also be 2018 things. Whatever. But, yeah, 2012, that kid's like a little baby probably. So that'd be fun. There's just 3 of them run around, like adult Ryan Reynolds, 12-year-old child, and then 1-year-old baby toddler. Just, we gotta keep him, otherwise they'll try to kill him. So, I don't know. He's part of the team now. Yeah. What other weapons? He has like some sort of fucking grenade or something.
Yeah, I think it's literally just like a grenade. It just looks a little fancier.
No interest in being clever or creative with future weaponry. Just like, grenades still work.
Or present weaponry. When Zoe Saldana's in the present, she's like, all right, I got this whole place wired. It's gonna be sick. I'm like, you're from the future. You've got 4 years. Let's see what you got. Gun and bomb.
I had that written down, Nando. Like, she's like, it'll take forever to penetrate my defensive. I spent 4 years on it. Fucking a thing of C4 buried below the ground to stop a truck, and it didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
And a bunch of guns in the floor.
Yeah. She doesn't even dual wielding them.
Yeah. Like, actually, you guys should stay. I have a lot of guns that I prepared for, so actually, if you guys aren't here, it really fucks up my plan.
Yeah,
so
right? Like,
stay, please.
I hope you have... Who are you? Bayonetta? What are you going to do with those 4 guns? You have 2 guns, max, that you can use at a time. But, yeah, I mean, these guys also... I mean, these goons are awful in terms of, like, not just strategy, in terms of, like, what they should be doing with the, benefit of time travel. But... just like fighting and stuff. Ryan Reynolds has a lightsaber, but it's just a lightsaber thing. Nothing should be stopping him from being shot, really. He can kind of block bullets, I think, but like, I don't know.
I don't think he ever blocks bullets with that thing, does he?
He does. He holds it up, and it's like, it doesn't make any sense because, like, they're probably also hitting his hand.
Yes.
But, like, he holds it up as if it were fucking Cap's shield blocking bullets. It's like, lightsabers kind of block the bullets, but not like that. Like,
it kind of reminds me of like Time Crisis or something like that, where it's like if you put the thing into this, like if you don't point it at the screen, it becomes your hidden under the table, and then when you point the gun at the screen, then your guy stands up and shoots. Like it's like if you hold the thing at a 90-degree angle with your arm, then it becomes a shield. Kind of like, what it reminded me of was Cable in Deadpool 2, where if he just like held up his arm, a big barrier of nothing would come up and he couldn't shoot him.
Yeah.
But I still think they could. I think if they threw C4 at him, he would definitely die.
Yeah, right.
It's the same thing where like these killers are both so ruthless that they'll kill even a child, but also they won't like do it in a way that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Where are their lightsaber? Why don't all of them have lightsabers? Why aren't they better?
The one? He stole the one that they
Christos
had.
has his lightsabers.
He has. Yeah, but why not give the other? I don't know.
Why don't all the guys have lightsabers, right? Like,
why aren't there more drones?
Well, there's just
why
some
aren't
mooks.
there more drones?
Yeah, why don't they just have an army of drones? Why do they send real guys in at all?
Yeah. I don't know.
Especially because the drones seem very effective. Maybe, again, we don't know what the economy's like in the future. Maybe this is just like the cost of, several thousand apes to do all this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The ape to drone thing it's ruined the drone market. Inflation. Am I right?
Yeah.
Inflation.
Ooh. Very good. Let's talk about Zoe Saldana. Speaking of her, she's in it.
Yeah, we probably should talk about her.
She's in it as whomst.
I don't even remember what is her name.
I legit can't remember her name.
I believe it is Laura.
Very good.
Laura, but
so yeah, she is the wife of Ryan Reynolds, who was trying to travel to 2018, exploded or something, and failed.
It is eventually revealed.
Yeah.
The villains have a thing where they like try for a second to pretend that they're not the villains.
Yeah.
A literal second before they just admit all the evil stuff they did at no prompting whatsoever.
Yep.
Right? It would be so easy for these villains to just show up and be like, no, that's a robot kid. This is a whole thing. Time travel, yes, it's complicated, but don't do what he says. He's trying to trick you. That'd be enough. I feel like at least to get in the kid's head, but they don't even bother.
Especially because the kid at that time, like when future Adam brings up Maya, the kid Adam is like, oh, I know her. She's always been so nice. So he would trust her.
Yeah. But now
think about that.
She sucks.
Oh, God, this movie.
She's not good at this. But anyway, sorry, Diggins. Go on. Zoe Saldana.
So it is revealed later in the movie that Christos, at Maya's order, put a bomb on her jet because she had found out, she discovered in the logs that there was a record of someone returning from 2018, but no record of that mission. And she figures out from only that Maya had traveled back in the past, gave herself a bunch of stock tips, and that was enough to make the future catastrophically evil.
Terminator on a good day.
Yeah. Why wasn't there a log of it going to the past?
Well, because her going to the past took place in the timeline that never happened.
Right.
But her coming back is in the timeline that did happen, you know?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure.
So she figures out that, like, oh, somebody went back and changed something.
Right.
But I guess Maya somehow found out that she was suspicious of something and had a bomb planted on her jet that blew up as soon as she got to 2018.
And then she was in 2018, and we would assume she died, maybe. Or something. Like, that's what Ryan Reynolds is like. Maybe she's dead, maybe she's alive, who knows? But I think she's alive.
Well, he doesn't know anything about what she found out. He just wants to find her.
Yeah.
His whole thing is to find out what happened to her.
Right. And then she shows up, and it's cool. They do a big fight scene.
They make out so much. They really like making out. I never understood this, by the way. Like, I don't know. I'm not like a big...
DJ's like, so unrealistic. I never make out with my wife.
No,
I would never make out with Zoe Saldana. Under the pain of death.
Maybe it's just me. I'm not a big makeout guy. So, like, I feel like if I were in that situation, I wouldn't spend the whole time, like, making out. But movies do this all the time.
A firm handshake
What
with
would you-
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, hold on, DJ. Could you can
sweetheart.
you describe in explicit detail what you would spend that time doing after you were reunited with your wife after 4 years?
All right, I got this new game. It's called Bajanko Castle Adventure. Here's how it works. You get 8 cards, I get 8 cards. You get 8 castles, I get 8 castles.
Honestly, accurate.
Bachelor time. Let's go watch The Bachelor. You have so many bachelors to catch up on, Ryan Reynolds. I've been taping them.
Each one more horrific than the last.
This one, yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
This is all accurate. I no shame in any of this.
Yeah, but I like 24. I guess it would have to go to 2022, but yeah, if they keep going, like 2040. This one owns slaves, I guess. I don't know where they keep finding these people. They're not.
Oh, is slavery
people.
legal in the future? No,
Yeah.
he just owned them somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh my god, he's just looking for love. So you wouldn't make out with your wife if you lost her for 4 years and
I
then she
wouldn't
was there.
spend that much time making out. They make out a lot. It's like they didn't know what dialogue to put for the two of them, so they replaced it with Adam makes out with Laura instead of like interesting dialogue.
I just can't even imagine what. Like, I love this idea. Like, because we haven't gotten this information from Michelle, but I loved it if like she was the one that got lost and she came and tried to make out with you, and you're like, all right, honey, enough of this. Can we talk about something interesting? I'd like some
overreact,
interesting
right?
dialogue to happen between us. Oh my god.
It's not realistic to me, all right?
That's fair, I guess. I mean, that part was cool. I like that they had sex in the past. I kind of wanted it to be something interesting. Again, just like a time travel movie with sex in it, it's just like fucking so many interesting things can happen.
When you do the nasty and the pasty, who knows what happens?
Exactly.
You get the alpha brainwave pattern.
Exactly.
The delta brainwave.
Whatever.
No, you lack the delta brainwave.
You lack the delta.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, but
You
yeah, he doesn't.
pedants.
Yeah, there's no. They just have sex. And,
Maybe. We don't know.
And the 12-year-old is weirdly into it.
I would. Yeah, I'd be like, yo,
Ugh.
hey, little me, you want to see some cool stuff?
Oh,
This is-
no.
you get-
No.
Yeah, you're not ready for it, but your kids are going to be, Marty, or whatever he says to the phone to Chuck Berry. So you're going to enjoy this kind of thing. Hey, yeah, I'd be like, all right, Laura, come on in here. And I got this new sound you're going to love, little me. Let's go do it. Yeah, I don't know. What else happens?
Well, they make it back to 2018, right? Thanks to Laura's sacrifice. And it's weird. Like, they go find the dad, Mark Ruffalo, who is... Oh, what did you guys think of Mark Ruffalo?
Like every other actor in this, they were like they usually are. He
Yeah.
did a good Mark Ruffalo, like he was the Hulk, he was himself in all those movies he's in.
Right. So they're like, all right, we got to go find Dad to convince him to help us, because Dad can help us. I find it interesting that they go to his like lecture hall, whatever, and the dad recognizes old Adam immediately.
Right, because he is a cool man instead of a silly mommy.
You know, men are intelligent and smart, and they just have an inherent connection to their sons that a mom could never have.
Even if they don't really, apparently, or maybe absent fathers, or maybe not. The movie doesn't really seem to have a strong opinion one way or the other.
Yeah, the movie is like, we want to have the appearance of a problem, but not enough of one that you ever might think that Mark Ruffalo might be bad. Because the most important thing is that you never feel bad while watching this movie.
Yeah, there's even the point where Ryan Reynolds is like, I have a character flaw and a problem. And the kid's like, no, you don't. You've remembered it wrong. This actually isn't a problem. And then he's like, I guess it's not. Okay. Let's continue the movie.
So, yeah, the dad's like, this is irresponsible. What are you doing? And it's a weird vibe, honestly. It's a weird vibe.
I mean,
that's like
in a movie that was taking the time travel more seriously, I would appreciate having the character who's like, you can't just change the past randomly and introduce all these paradoxes. That's who knows what that could do to the fabric of the universe. Except as Ryan Reynolds does point out, it's happened like 20 times already. Who gives a shit anymore? It's all fine.
Yeah. Also, there was a Terminator 2 future, so I don't know. It's gonna be really
it's like
bad.
we're in dire straits here, Pops.
Oh, also, I'm okay. I remember when the kid, this is like a little bit earlier, but Ryan Reynolds kind of starts explaining this all to him, and the kid's like, oh, man, wait, you mean it's a multiverse, paradox creation, blah, 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 blah? Shoot me. I never need to hear that line again. I remember when Spider-Man said it in the new one and the one before that, and it's just like, kid knows what the multiverse is, and even if they do, it doesn't matter.
A movie where they're like, wow, it's like a multiverse where all my favorite IPs exist in a cohesive brand universe and could potentially cross over.
Yeah, and then Ryan Reynolds pulls a lightsaber out from behind him, and then
he's
Captain
like,
America
kid,
shield.
what do you think?
Yeah. I don't know. Mark Ruffalo's fine. He's fine in these.
I will say, Nando, is this a monkey's paw for you? Because you did say that this year would be the year of the multiverse. So
I mean, there's part of the year where it will be the year of the multiverse, because some movies will be about that. And then the other part where movies and other things will start slapping the word multiverse on things because they seem like things people care about. So I guess this helps. I mean, I think the movie would be exactly the same.
This movie because it has that line, very explicitly says, this is not a multiverse.
Yeah. But, yeah, now thanks to our current pop culture moment, everybody has to mention it. It has to be a thing.
Yeah, it puts it into our current universe, which I think is important.
Also, do you guys remember when they jump to the past? Maya is like, you only have enough fuel for one more jump.
Yeah.
Like, it's a fucking time travel movie. Get more fuel. Jump to somewhere when you have fuel and switch the ships or something.
Yeah, jump back to the future. She'll never expect it. She's expecting you to 2018. And honestly, then you just go back to the point in 2018 you wanted to anyway. You're time traveling. There's not a time constraint here.
We already did this in Endgame, you fucks.
Exactly, and Endgame did it right, where they were just like, oh, if we go back to the past, we can just get more of it. They didn't even do it as stupidly as you could do it, where, not like stupidly, but it just like, I think we talked about this in the Endgame, but just put all the time travel juice in a bowl, and then everybody time travels back to the time when it was full bowl and takes one out and make enough timelines or whatever. But, you can have infinite numbers of things as long as you had them once in a time travel movie. And they just go, I guess you're right. I guess we only have one jump left. Also, why would you think that? It's 2018. It's like the wife crash landed there. Probably. Or whatever.
Yeah, her bunker probably has all the fuel you need.
Yeah, where's her plane?
Where's her, period?
Yeah, great question.
Where is her plane?
I don't know. Bottom of that lake?
Probably. They didn't have the force to pull it up. Only lightsabers.
She had to individually eat every single piece of the jet so the future technology didn't fall into the hands of the past.
That's pretty cool of her. That was why she was so badly prepared. She just spent the whole movie just Like, and it was like the eating of like the hot wings on hot ones, just to spend most of the time just looking at it like, oh, I don't want to eat this capacitor.
Yeah. She'd actually only finished eating it like 30 minutes before she showed up at that fight, so that's why she could only set up like one C4 and a bunch of guns.
Yeah, and then Ryan Reynolds is like, "You've been preparing for 4 years. Oh yeah, you go. You don't even believe the shit I got planned for him. Get away from it so you can't see it. It might even blind you because it's so cool." What was I going to say? Oh yeah, speaking of locations and stuff, where did this movie take place and where was it shot?
Where it took place, I'm not sure. Where was it shot? Probably Vancouver.
Yeah, right. There was a part of me that was like, does this movie also take place in Vancouver? But I want to say it takes place in Washington, but I can't remember why I think that.
And there's no way that this American-made movie stars disgusting Canadians.
Exactly. That would be horribly irresponsible for the film industry.
Directed by disgusting Canadians.
Exactly.
And starring. Isn't Ryan Reynolds Canadian?
Yeah.
No, so Canadian. Probably that kid too. I don't like it. Just like with that Turning Red movie, I am tired of this Canadian representation. We need less of it in films, Just
Nando's out here speaking facts.
You put all the young, Asian American teenagers don't care about that. Just keep them out Canada.
The movie was filmed in Vancouver. I was right.
Of course it was.
Wow, good job by you.
Yeah.
I mean, I had like a 66% chance of being correct just saying Vancouver.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, any movie would be true to that. But also, like, a lot of this movie did look like Vancouver. Also, talk about this. The mom is, like, broke, kind of. There's, like, or, like...
Is she?
I don't know. Didn't she say it, though?
Yeah, there's a scene with the bills. Yeah, I forgot. Man, Dickens, you hit it right on the head when you're like, this movie has themes that it picks up and just leaves. But no interest in continuing them whatsoever. I totally forgot that mom was fucking broke.
So, broken, God. Whatever. But also, what a fucking house. Jesus.
Well, the husband probably paid it off with his, time travel money or whatever.
But then he probably, left them a bunch of money. They're probably rich.
You'd have to assume, right?
Not according to the bills she has to pay.
Well, but the thing is, she's not like, oh, how are we going to pay these bills? She's just like, oh, I forgot to pay this bill, and this filing system is confusing, so I got to find it. There's no implication that she has trouble paying it monetarily. She just is having trouble finding it physically.
So the point of that scene is that she's bad at, filing?
I guess.
What the fuck, man?
Remember when she has a boyfriend guy that she's dating, and the kid is shitty to him?
All 2 seconds, man.
Great stuff. But yeah, so they go into the future with Mark Ruffalo. They do a bunch of big fights. Remember when they go to the special building full of whatever, and they get to it, and Ryan Reynolds is like, something's wrong. It's empty. And I'm like, nah, that's just kind of how this movie's been going.
Yeah.
Not a lot of extras.
It was filmed during COVID. We had to be pretty judicious about this sort of thing.
Yeah, I would also. This would also could be a national holiday. It doesn't need to be part of a big evil conspiracy, but it is, and the guys are invisible too. Cool. They have invisibility. They have these fucking planes. They have all kinds of DNA stuff. They just lightsabers, guns, everything.
But it becomes clear that they have no problem killing him, right? So why didn't they just shoot him while they were invisible?
Great question that I was about to ask.
That wouldn't be nice. It's not like he has information they need to get out or something. They totally could have done that.
Maybe they can't do a lot while invisible, because they should fight while invisible, but they never fight while invisible,
Yeah, maybe it's like active camo in Halo, if you start moving. But I mean, a gunshot. Also,
right.
The plane is invisible. So, let's get the plane over him and have that shoot him. It has big old guns. Who gives a shit?
Oh, man.
What do we think of... Oh, sorry?
I was going to say, what I love about, the setup for this scene is, so they're going to this place to blow it up, and, the way you're thinking about it, you're like, well, that's not going to, like, solve your problem. They'll build a new one. And then Mark Ruffalo comes on, crashes a car, and is like, what's your plan to blow it up? That won't work. They'll just build a new one. It's like, yeah, I think anyone with brain cells would figure that one out by now. But this movie was just going to let it ride with Ryan Reynolds, who's just like, well, I must shoot my problems to death. I know no other way.
Yeah, I mean, they also, like, they blow it up specifically, I think, because they want to get the math formula out of it, and like they have to get that out also as part of it or something.
Yeah. Also, what is it's there blowing up? Like a reactor?
I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
The movie doesn't care. The movie's just whatever.
But yeah,
I think it's like a particle accelerator or something.
Sure.
I think that's right. I think they give it a dumber name, not like dumber name, but like something else. Like a fusion accelerator. But yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Because if it's just a particle accelerator, they could be like, taking this thing out could be very dangerous. And then I would just be like, well, why don't you just turn it off then? A particle accelerator is for like experiments. It doesn't power anything. You can just turn it off.
Well, also, this movie loves, like, just science words for science sake. Like, the word quantum is used, like, 40 times for, like, no reason. It's my quantum signature. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
you say
and multiverse and all kinds of bullshit. Like, it's just, yeah, it's like a Mad Libs. There was also the bit. What do we think of Kathleen Keener? By the way, is that her name?
Catherine Keener.
Catherine Keener. There you go. She plays both the young Maya and Maya with like a shawl or whatever.
Dude.
Yeah, and they interact sometimes in just the worst looking scenes. Just the compositing of them to have two Catherine Keeners just looks so bad.
And was this
there
where
is
the
rough
de-aging
technology going on there, like rough.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Why did we not get why did they de-age one of the Kathleen Keeners?
It's a great question.
Or Catherine Keeners and put makeup on the other one? Why don't you have one be the main one and then that one gets makeup, but when they're the main one, that's just how they look usually.
Also, in a similar vein, so the age difference between them is supposed to be 28 years, I think, right?
Roughly, yeah.
Something like that.
What? No, it's not. It's 10? Maybe 15?
I mean, in the future, they have really good stuff, you know?
I guess that's the only thing that makes sense. Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's what threw me off the whole time. I'm like, wait, what is supposed to be the age difference?
Yeah, I don't know.
I've lost the goddamn thread of this movie.
I also I love the conversation they have the first time we see them together, where young Maya is like, the things you said to do were all evil and unethical, and I'm like, yeah, you did them though. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
Why are you the one berating her about this? Why are you berating her about this now? Like, maybe you said that the first time, but now this is the time after that where you did those things. So, like, what exactly is your moral high ground here?
It's pretty dumb.
And, like, maybe there's something interesting in there where you could have her be, like, part of the reason she was able to do these things that, by the way, again, are, like, not that bad. I mean, she's apparently so evil, but, I mean, they're bad in a capitalist sense, in that she, like, invested in some, like, bad stuff and then used her financial power to influence legislation and the political process to the point where she was able to insulate herself from accountability. But yeah, I mean, that's like typical stuff. That's not like single-handedly responsible for destroying the world stuff. That's all the CEOs of the world doing that, destroying the world stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wanted Ryan Reynolds to go back to the future. Like, have a whole thing where he, like, travels through a bunch of fucking lights or whatever. And, like, I can feel it. The future is changing around me. And he gets there, and it's exactly the same as when he left. And he's like, oh, right.
Oh, no.
There were a lot of other things I should have probably done before I came back here.
The problems were systemic. I thought they were individual.
No. It's just one bad apple.
But yeah, so, like, there's an interesting thread there where you could have it be like, she's able to do all these bad things because she can blame it on this other version of herself, you know?
Right.
Where she could say, like, well, I have to do this for the future that she said to happen, and that's how time travel works, and she's offloading the responsibility in that way. But that's not what's happening. She just says this stuff limply and then doesn't really do anything about all the outrageously evil shit older Maya does.
Yeah. So then they go to the particle accelerator and have the big final fight scene.
Hey guys.
Yeah?
I don't know how, like, magnetism works, but, like...
You wrote this movie?
ICP.
DJ, are you telling me you wrote this movie?
DJ, are you telling me that you're a member of the Insane Clown Posse? Are you Furious J or Shaggy 2 Dope?
Man, it's cool. Like, whatever, like, it doesn't matter. But it's rough when, like, you're just watching this movie and you see the seams. It's like, man, they didn't just give a fuck about what they wrote and didn't care to explain it. Would you guys care to explain what happens in this?
I think it's pretty simple. Magnetism is kind of like everything gets you like take things that are magnetic or possibly magnetic or whatever. You flip a coin, and if it lands heads, nothing. And if it lands tails, they get pulled into the center.
Okay.
And everything you do the coin flip maybe every 30 seconds, so some things become newly magnetized every so often. But that's about it. It's pretty simple, actually. I don't know why you have so much trouble with this whole like magnetism.
I also feel the rule is. I feel like there's a rule there that's like good guy gun, no magnetism. Bad guy gun, yes magnetism.
Oh yeah, I mean like the gun magnetism is insane. Bullet in gun, no magnetism. Bullet out of gun, magnetism. What? I get that, like, she's not holding it, but, like, she fired it with a lot of fucking force. It's not just... Yeah.
It would be much harder to affect it with magnetism outside of the gun than it would be inside of it.
It doesn't make sense.
Unless the gun is, like, made out of rubber and is insulating the bullet.
Oh.
Yes.
That's probably what's happening.
Well, not made out of rubber, but is like a Faraday cage.
Yeah.
Where it's completely insulated from the electromagnetic waves outside of the gun.
We have to go with gun for this.
That's our only option.
Remember, so they do the shit. All the main characters, except for Jennifer Garner, fuck her, she's gone. But all the other ones are in this room, and it all closes or something, and they all have to do a fight. And a kid gets the lightsaber and does a big old flip. You guys remember what he says?
I actually don't.
No, I don't remember.
Speaking of like three guys
racing?
Lightsaber, no, but it made me roll my eyes big time. He lands after doing the big jump and says a superhero landing.
God. I puked so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awful.
Has this kid seen Deadpool?
Right?
Like that movie you were in, me.
Yeah. I was in or will be in, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess he is. But yeah, he said that. And then they killed a bunch of guys, and then we get that final standoff, which is easily, the dumbest part. Like, the magnetism is so bad, I can't remember exactly what happens, but something like the bullets, or not the bullets, the buttons on someone's, like, shirt come off or something, right?
Yeah.
The buttons on his shirt, on his jacket, the jacket he's been wearing all movie, are one of the first things to come off.
If you're getting a jacket buttons level of magnetism, everything's magnetismed. Like, it's crazy. Oh, it's so crazy.
What was the line that the dad said? It's like, you look like a condom with buttons. Is that what he said? The fucking jacket?
Yeah, that sounds right.
God.
Which was, like, such, a bad line. B, felt so out of character. Like, why is the dad saying that?
Right?
Especially in front of his son. Well, I guess they're both his son, but in front of his 12-year-old son.
Yeah.
Just everyone has to say a looks like line, because that's the quippy thing to say, and it's like, oh, you look like a this with a this.
Also, he doesn't look that bad in the jacket. When he puts it on the first time, the kid's like, it's not going to fit. And, like, it doesn't fit super well when he buttons it, but it fits fine. Like, when it's not buttoned. I don't know why he buttons this jacket at all. For the joke, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, how else would the joke work?
Remember when the kid... I don't remember what the line is. The other big quip in this movie is when they call the goatee like a chin mullet or something. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That was a bad joke.
The guy's like, I never heard that one before. Yeah, it's a dumbass line that
nobody says it. It's weird. It's not a chin mullet. Why would it be a mullet?
Yeah, a mullet is specifically in the back.
Yeah. Fuck, dude.
It's a goatee.
These writers are like... doing the thing for like how South Park said Family Guy wrote their episodes.
Yes.
The manatees are just picking balls. Like, that's it. Oh,
yeah,
God.
someone would say something like that to you, and you'd be like, "Are you okay, kid?"
Yeah, right.
Chin? Mullet?
Also, then the mom, like, goes to the son, you could be such an asshole sometimes. Like,
yeah.
Who says that to a 12-year-old?
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
It's not your 16-year-old son. Like, you could be such an asshole sometimes. It's like, god damn.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a world where this movie was written for a 16-year-old kid, but then the one that they got that they liked couldn't pass for 16, so they changed it to 12. I think that would work.
Well, and then, like, the ages would be too similar, right? Like, why would Ryan
still
Reynolds team up
is.
with his 16-year-old? So, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, nothing in this movie makes sense. Like, it's very clear. This movie has no ideas.
But yeah, so then there's a whole big showdown with the gun and gun stuff. Sorry, fell asleep. The showdown is that one of them is a gun and then point at the other ones and just like, don't shoot me. And then she says,
yeah, don't shoot
it's
with a gun.
Armor-piercing bullet.
Well, Ryan Reynolds says it because Mark Ruffalo goes, get behind me, and Ryan Reynolds is like, that shoots armor-piercing bullets, so if we're behind you, we'll just also get shot.
Yeah, good point.
It's a great point.
But also, apparently, armor-piercing bullets have something in them, steel or whatever, that makes them magnetic.
But
So
only when you're
shoot it-
outside of your Faraday cage gun.
Yeah, so when you shoot it, it flings to kill the other one instead, the you from the past, and then you in the present, like future you in the present, disintegrates. Did anyone else go, wait, what? I really didn't like that. I don't know why.
About which part?
That she immediately disappeared. It felt weird.
Yeah, I felt like, so earlier he had said, like, yeah, it takes a while for changes in the past to catch up to you, but I guess not if you die. That's instant.
Yeah.
Also, like, I think this goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Like, even if the magnetism is true with, like, the bullet thing, I don't think that's how that would work.
Well,
Like, I don't think it would be so specific to where, like, it points at the direction and, like, goes through her with that precision. Like, maybe, but it just
So, if you want to take a quick walk over here to my science corner.
Oh, I would love that.
The amount of magnetism you would need to even influence the curve of a bullet, let alone pull it in a completely different direction, is astronomical. Because bullets have a lot of force behind them and are moving extremely quickly.
Yes.
And magnetism is, it's not like a super strong force. Obviously the strength of different magnets varies, and you could say, as this is some kind of reactor meltdown, this is a very strong magnet, although it would certainly be doing a lot more than it is if that were the case.
Right.
Yeah. This reactor went to the Spider-Man 2 school of magnetic stuff, where, like, the important things far away in the room get really magnetized, but the things that it is sitting on that are metal that it is next to are not magnetized enough to move or do anything. It's just like the lights and, like, other stuff that you can kind of see.
Right. But anyway, I believe, as a Twitter user pointed out under our Twitter thread that DJ started,
Yes.
and you can credit them after I finish this sentence, even assuming the magnet was so unbelievably strong it could affect the path of the bullet, it would do so by curving its arc in like a circle around, like going closer and closer to the core. It wouldn't stop the bullet in midair and then pull it directly towards it. And if it did do that, it would not be moving that fast because it went to a complete stop first. So it probably wouldn't even have killed her.
Yeah. It's a great point. That's from @Shrike126 on Twitter. Thank you for giving us that comment.
How funny would it be if, like, everything was going on, all the magnetism stuff, but, like, before this, and the kid is, like, being sweet with the lightsaber, and he does the big jump move, and then he's like, wait a second, and right as he flies into the air, the magnetism gets him and just, like, smashes him into the thing. It's like,
my God.
Yeah, I forgot this thing's magnetic. Why? Well, yeah, I don't know. Magnetism is dumb in movies. It always has been, but, like, it's extra dumb in this movie because it's such a plot point in the plot mechanism for how you kill the character.
Yeah.
Remember in F9 when they specifically pointed out how there there are many non-magnetic metals, and then still have the big magnet attract literally everything.
Yep. Yeah. Then what happens? Anything else interesting?
Oh man, we get the most fucking stereotypical scene, and they fucking all play catch. Guys.
Everyone knows that the way to tell if a dad is good or not is if they play catch with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what else your dad does or doesn't do. If they play catch with you, that means they're a good dad.
But like as pointed out by the kid earlier, the dad used to play catch with them. This isn't that new of a thing. It's not like a groundbreaking, oh, I love you, son, I'm going to be different. No. This is what he would do every day. So it's nice, but it's not a character thing.
I got nothing for you.
And then Ryan Reynolds and the kid like fade into the future.
Everything merges, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. Ryan Reynolds goes back to high school, like Space High School or whatever, and like college, and meets Zoe Saldana still.
Yeah, it's good they found each other. They said they would.
They said they would, but like, you found each other at the fucking space fucking time travel academy or whatever.
It was a regular flight academy. I don't know if it was a time travel academy.
That's probably true, but still, if the world is going to change enough so that the oceans aren't on fire anymore, you're probably not still going to the same school.
It had to be the Time Travel Academy, DJ, because that's why he's all like, but we'll never meet if we do this, because we were met at the Time Travel Academy. Like,
oh, shit.
If he would have joined the Air Force anyway, and then just later happens to go to the Time Force section of the Air Force, then there would be nothing to worry about. That part would still happen.
You're so right. Fuck this movie.
Like, that ending is very dumb, but also the whole thing with her is very dumb. I want to say she's the worst part of this movie because the whole movie's not good. But all her stuff is so extra and like kind of tacked on that the movie knows it wants to be about the dad-son thing because that's the only really like the dad-son mom. Like that is the relationship that the movie cares about. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds needs a sick girlfriend or wife or whatever to be cool with because he is cool and tough. It wouldn't make sense if we saw his character in the movie and he didn't have a girlfriend or wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like The Rock. He always has to be married. It's the rules.
But he can never fuck.
No, but he can never fuck. And this one kind of almost fucked. But they probably played a card game or something. You're right, DJ.
Or talked about The Bachelor.
I'm just saying, be realistic, movie. Be realistic.
I mean, yeah. You guys you think it's better or worse than Red Notice?
Well, I didn't see Red Notice. I only have the podcast to go off of, but I'm going to guess worse.
Oh, were you not here for that one?
No, I was on my honeymoon.
Oh,
I did listen to the podcast, though.
Yeah. What about you,
Red
Diggins?
Notice was just you and me, Nando.
I forgot. A lot of the Red Notice Netflix stuff just comes and goes.
It always feels like you're with us, DJ.
That's right.
This makes me feel better.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what do you think, Diggins? Having seen both movies, which one do you like better?
Oh gosh,
right?
I guess this one because the weird time travel aspect makes it a little more interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I think so too. The only, not like redeeming, but the thing about the other movie that was so weird was like Gal Gadot's character, where she kind of miscast role that she was in. This one didn't have anything like that. It really was just everybody, showed up. Like there were some script problems and stuff like that, but Ryan Reynolds was fine, the kid was fine, the mom was fine. Remember Jennifer Gardner, like Mark Ruffalo, they all did their job and did it the way they usually do it in other things. So it worked out about as well as you can expect. But it was just like, if you told me time travel movie, these are the characters in it, you really could close your eyes and probably figure out most of this movie. You could put together what's going on. It will not surprise you one bit. So, it's two great Netflix movies. Lost City is the next one. Let's see if that one's any good.
Is that what we're doing next week?
Oh, I don't know. It's just the next Netflix movie.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe we'll do it next week, though. I don't know when I don't think it's out yet.
Yeah, I don't know if it's out yet. Actually,
I think it's next week.
Keep talking. I have to look up what's out next week so I can figure out what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to rush out to the theaters, it comes out on Tuesday in theaters, but I don't know when it releases on Netflix. Well, maybe it is. Man. Oh, March 19th. Is it out now? Wait,
No,
but is
wait,
that
is
on
it?
streaming? Hold on. This is so complicated. Why
It is
Netflix? I just
complicated.
can't.
Is it streaming at all, or is it only in theaters? Is it one in the trailer? Does it yell at you only in theaters?
Oh my god, is this a theaters movie? I just assumed this was a Netflix movie.
I
Which
think this is
movie
a
are we talking
theaters
about?
Oh, you're right. This is totally a theaters movie. The Lost City.
The
Oh
Sandra
yeah,
Bullock,
that's a
Channing
theaters
Tatum.
movie. If I'd been paying attention, I could have told you that forever ago.
That's
God,
so
do I-
crazy. I thought it was a Netflix movie.
Do I have to go to a movie to see this?
Oh yeah, no, we're not going to do this one then.
Oh, great.
I'm sure we can find something else to talk about. Wow, that's so weird. But yeah, I mean, what could we do? What will we do next week?
Coming soon. Man, we're so close to Morbius, guys. We're so close to Morbius.
I don't want to ruin it, but I have heard some pretty bad things.
I
but
mean, we know this,
no,
right?
we don't. It could be great. This might be the best movie ever. Ignore what I just said. Maybe it'll be great. I'd have to see. I'm so confused.
Did the what's it called? Lost City not being a streaming movie like really fuck you up?
Yeah, like it is. They don't know it yet, but it is. They gotta fix it.
We've upended Nando's entire reality
Really
with this
have.
revelation.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything coming. I guess we're in the wake of the Batman, so like nobody's rushing to release movies that I think people like. So I'll probably have to find something that's just coming onto HBO Max or whatever. Huh. So interesting. But yeah.
So interesting indeed.
Do you guys want to get to our classic segment then? Anything else on whatever the fuck this movie was? I don't know.
I didn't like it, and should people watch it even with the lowest barrier to entry, it being on Netflix?
No, I
There's
wouldn't.
better stuff on Netflix.
Yeah,
Like-
it's one of those movies, and I've said this a few times for movies we've watched, where it's not like good or fun, but it's not that bad. It's just really bland. So it's not fun to watch because it's good, and it's also not fun to watch because it's terrible. It's just kind of there. So
I would say, yeah, don't turn it off, but don't turn it on either. If it's already on, watch it, whatever. But if it's not already on, probably could do better. Yeah. But yeah, let's get to our classic segment. Okay, so DJ, do we have anything to recommend to the fine people?
Yeah, so we had a gap in recording here. Just I had a lot of like scheduling things, so I have a lot of things to rec. So strap in, everybody. I won't try to spend too long on any one of them. Okay, first thing, I saw Turning Red. I loved it. Hard recommendation. Feel really good about my prediction. I don't want to say too much, but I loved it. I would encourage everyone to see it. I think it's really good. I know that for some people, like the animation style might be like a little, I don't know, like off-putting because it's that kind of like Steven Universe, overly cute animation style, which I know everyone doesn't love, but I think it works for this movie that's doing a very stylized 90s thing and is working in a lot of camp. I think it works for that aspect. So very much enjoyed Turning Red. All right, next up, another movie. So I talked about the anime Jujutsu Kaisen. I've recommended that before. The movie just came out. Oh, guys, maybe we can nitpick this movie. So it's Jujutsu Kaisen 0. It's like a prequel to the first season of the anime. It's about one of the characters who is like part of the team, but isn't in season 1. He comes up later in the manga. But like they show his like origin story in this movie. It's really good. I would say that if you haven't read the manga like I have and watched season 1, you get to see a few of the characters that they have shown, but not what their powers are, and just kind of showcases a lot of stuff. The animation's really good. I love Studio Mappa. So yeah, if you're a fan of the anime, absolutely, if you're comfortable and all that shit, go see the movie, because I thought the movie was fantastic. So that's another one. Okay. All right, now I got some shows. Okay, first up. So are you guys familiar with like Big Mouth? Have you guys ever watched Big Mouth before?
I know it exists, and I kind of can tell. Probably not for me, but I've seen it, and I know people that like it, so it's probably fine.
So I would say that Big Mouth I'm in the same camp, Nando. Big Mouth is not for me. I tried to watch it, and not really my thing. So they came out with a new show in the...
Yeah, I like it. He's zigging where he's expecting to zag, Throw in a couple wrecks and maybe one non-wreck.
So, I don't know if you guys are aware, but there's a show that came out in the same universe called Human Resources, where it's, like, about the different, like, monsters and, like whatever, just different things that, like, you know, affect human emotion. So, like, if you haven't seen Big Mouth, it's, like, about these, like, two kids that are going through puberty, and there's, like, different, like, monsters that, like, affect, like, what they're going through. So there's, like, a hormone monster, there's a love bug, there's, like, a shame wizard, there's, like, all these different characters. So, like, what this show does is, like, it's just about the characters, and it's actually pretty interesting. It's, like, funny. It's, like, for me, it's, like, less gross than Big Mouth, so that's why I liked it a little bit more. It's still got, like, that very, like, Nick Kroll style to it, but, I actually, like, found this kind of funny and just found, like, the weird, like, office-y politics of these, like, different, like, characters, like, oddly compelling. So, yeah, I'd say, like, give it a shot. Luckily, it's, like, one of those things within, like, 2 episodes, like, similar to Big Mouth. You're probably like, this is or is not for me. So it's, like, probably, like, a quick, like, burnout, like, if you're not into it, or, like, you'll know, like, this is something that I would want to invest time in and watch. So that's another one. Similarly, Joe vs. Carol on Peacock. So, like, full disclosure, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a couple episodes, and Michelle watched the whole thing, kind of talked to me about it. Apparently, if you watch Tiger King and you like Tiger King, this is, like, good content, like, fictionalized content. Like, the actors are pretty good. She really liked Kate McKinnon, who plays Carol Baskin. But if you didn't watch Tiger King and it's not your thing, then this is probably not for you. So, you know, kind of take it or leave it in terms of that. But it's on Peacock, so it's like one of those things, like, if you have Peacock like we do, mostly for wrestling, then great. If you don't have Peacock, like, don't sign up for Peacock to get this. So yeah, that's another one. And okay, I got one last thing. There's one last recommendation I want to throw out there. Okay, so this is, like, weirdly specific, like, kind of like that time I recommended a park, but bear with me. All right, have you guys ever heard of this live Japanese-inspired improv comedy show called Batsu?
No?
Absolutely
okay,
not.
Great. Okay, so it's a live show that they have one in New York and they have one in Chicago. So if you're not in one of those places, I'm really sorry. But if you do go to one of these places, maybe it's a thing you could do, like a touristy thing or whatever. So what it is, it's like, okay, it's improv comedy, but with, like, a little bit of jackass, and it's Japanese. It's hilarious. I went for a friend's birthday last night, or 2 nights ago, whatever, and it was, like, a really good time. They, like, the sake never stops flowing. The stuff that these guys do is, like, insane. I wouldn't even want to, like, spoil it in case you wanted to do it, but, like, trust me, it's, like, really, really funny. It's, like, it's so hard to describe. I don't know. I should, like, Google it. Like I said, it's in New York or Chicago. If you're not in one of those places, I'm sorry, but yeah, I very much enjoyed this. Diggins, maybe check it out. Maybe go to the East Village and go with a couple friends and go check out Batsu. It's a freaking trip. Yeah, so sorry that rec is specific, but I felt like I had to put it out there just because I enjoyed it so much, and would have felt bad if I didn't put it out there, having enjoyed it so much.
Wow. I mean, sounds interesting.
But what does it do for the greater good?
No, what does it do for the greater good?
It makes you laugh so hard and feel joy for a few hours. So
that's so valuable these days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would put that as part of the greater good.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know. Anything on any of those recs? You know?
Nah, I mean, wait, what were they? I feel like there was one that I had a thought on.
Turning Red, Jujutsu Kaisen Zero the movie.
No.
Oh, I wrote down, I forgot one. Okay, I'm sorry. I got one more. I got one more. Love is Blind Season 2. Really good. Much better than Season 1. I'm taking up, like, way too much time, but, like, the premise is they put people in pods, they can't see them, they see if they can fall in love, they get married in 4 weeks. It's a banana show. They casted it so much better this time. Like, if you watch Love is Blind Season 1 and you're like, this show sucks, the premise doesn't work, give it another shot. I thought the same thing. Someone had told me that Season 2 is really, really good. I watched it. I'm so glad I watched it. So, like, Love is Blind Season 2. Give it a shot. If you haven't watched either season, skip Season 1. Watch Season 2. The people they cast are freaking insane. I think they learned the same lesson that, like, Too Hot to Handle did. That, like, you have to cast insane people to make these shows work, and they did it for this show, and it's perfect. It's perfect. Nando Diggins, I know you guys don't watch these shows. Watch Love is Blind Season 2.
I watched the first season of Love is Blind.
Nando, watch Season 2. I'm telling you, watch Season 2.
Maybe I will.
Please do. It's so good. Turning Red, Jujutsu Kaisen 0 the movie, Love is Blind Season 2, Human Resources, Joe vs. Carol, and Batsu in either New York or Chicago.
Oh, yeah, with Joe vs. Carol was the one I wanted to say.
Okay.
If I never hear any of their names again, it'll be too soon. That's why, I remember hearing that show came out, and I was like, why? Who on earth? But, I mean, maybe it's not bad, but just, I don't know. They feel like that, yeah. I'm sure it's great.
It's not boring. I'll say this. The show is, not boring from the few episodes I watched. It, didn't drag. I'm I don't know. Like I said, it's not a reason to get Peacock. But if you have Peacock,
cool.
So, those are all my recs.
Diggins, you got anything to recommend to the fine people?
Top 6, Diggins. Top 6 recommendations.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go real quick. I've got one underlining of a previous rec and then one new rec. My underlining is I watched all of After Party since our last recording.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Great show.
So good.
Really enjoyed it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's it's really funny. I feel like the first episode isn't really as funny as the rest of it, so if you watch that first episode and you're like, that wasn't that funny, give it another episode or two.
Yeah.
And then also, as it goes on, actually a really good mystery show.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of it, I was very invested in the murder mystery aspect of it. So Nando was totally right. Great show. You should watch that if you can. Then my new rec, as I saw a movie starring a certain Mr. Peter Dinklage.
Oh my God! Did you watch Cyrano?
I did see Cyrano. Yes.
Is that any good?
Is it good?
Yeah, that's why I'm wrecking it.
Cool.
Oh man! Wow.
So here's my touch point. I enjoyed it enough to wreck it. Here's my touch point for if you might as well. A lot of it gave me big Moulin Rouge vibes.
Oh.
Where it's this very over the top, very melodramatic, and big, kind of musical. There's one song that I absolutely love how they staged, in the film, for reasons I don't want to spoil, but it's really funny. And also it's just, it looks beautiful the way, some of the camera work is a little too stagey, like some stage adaptations can be, where it's it looks like you filmed a play. But I would say, as far as these movies go, they're better about it than most. There is still a lot of very cinematic aspects to it, especially some of the songs. Some of the songs get shot very cinematically.
There's
in ways
songs in this thing?
I had no idea.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
first of all, they're singing a song in the trailer. So,
I never remember that,
seen
and
it.
I watched so many trailers that were on TV.
the
teasers had songs.
Like what?
Like the teaser trailers had songs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look,
you might have to show me one, man. I'm not convinced.
So this is not directly based on the original stage play Cyrano de Bergerac. It is based on a musical adaptation of it that was actually written by Peter Dinklage's wife.
That's brilliant.
And he originated the role when it was performed. And so then this is the movie version of that specific adaptation.
Wow, this is like the Buzz Lightyear toy based on the movie that the toy is based on, or whatever.
Yeah, so it was written by Peter Dinklage's wife, and it had music done by The National.
Oh, shit.
Who's that?
Which,
Is
if
that
you know
band?
what?
Is that band? Or is that one guy? They got The National. We caught him, boys. I don't know. Sounds like The Fugitive and The National and all those Harrison Ford movies.
If you know The National, you might think, isn't a common criticism of them that all their songs sound the same? And yeah, kinda. But
nice.
They're still fun. They're not the best musical songs ever, but they're fun. They work for the movie. It's this big melodramatic thing that is, like I said, it's a good time. If you're into It's not quite as wild because it's not using contemporary pop songs, but if you're into the whole kind of like Moulin Rouge-ish, somewhat silly, over-dramatic stage adaptation thing, then this is a fun movie. It's worth watching.
Huh. I'll be damned. I'm shocked.
So I'll tell you what. I'm watching this trailer. I swear to God. So this is the one that went out in like 2021, so it's probably another one. But I had stopped it at 1 minute and 30-ish seconds, and if I had let it play for like another 5, it would have been a musical number. But the first bunch of the trailer is not that, and I just was like, oh, this is like Bridgerton or something. I don't need to see this.
I don't think the teaser has a song. I really don't. Because I like...
The song playing in the trailer is a song from the musical.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's not,
Right.
A lot of movies have songs in the trailer.
Later in it, they show the performance of one of those songs where the people are dancing and singing.
Also, this is one of those movies I feel like that has been hanging around in COVID for very long. So there could be bazillions of trailers. Who knows? Anyway, but...
That's true.
So you like this. You think this is good.
I enjoyed it. I don't think it's flawless, but I think it's good. Wow. But yeah, Nando, flawless. Do you have any recommendations for the fine people?
Yeah. I mean, I have also. I'll try to cut mine down to 6. I watched. Okay, I did watch a lot of things. One of the ones I watched is The Boys Made a Cartoon.
I saw that.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No.
It is like Star Wars Visions, where they have a bunch of different animators and creators like freedom to make their own thing. I think this is not like a little more successful than Visions, but it just has a little bit more of like an entry point where like besides the fact that there are stars in it, it's easy to like it's not better than Visions or anything like that. It's like the same. But there's an episode by Andy Samberg with Andy Samberg in it and stuff like that. So like there's a Rick and Morty style episode by Justin Roiland with his voice in it. So
sure.
Yeah, it's very easy to tell like, oh, this is this. Oh, this is this. But there's some really good stuff in there. Now, as a person who enjoys the Boysiverse, I think it's a very interesting like universe to play around in and be like, what if there was a face cream that made you handsome? But I don't know. How would that be? The best one I think is there's a bunch of good ones, but the Baby's Day Out one is great. And that's I think the first one, so I definitely would recommend seeing that one. Some of the other ones, like they're hit or miss, but just as like a thing, I think that's interesting. So love that. Big catching up on some Hot Ones is. You ever watch that, you guys?
I've watched a couple episodes of Hot Ones.
I saw the Colin Farrell one. I really like Colin Farrell. He's great. Like just such a charming dude and also pretty funny. And yeah, seems nice. So I don't know. I like that episode. But okay, other stuff. So I watched on Peacock, speaking of Peacock, a channel we all love that has everything. They had a new show, which I only watched the first episode of because I do not subscribe to Peacock. I will not, and you cannot make me. Called The Bust Down. You heard of this?
No.
It's that show where they bust down, right?
It is that one, yeah. It's Chris Redd and some other people that are comedians, I assume. And it's like a show about some people who kind of bullshit and work at a casino in like the back rooms. Kind of like Workaholics vibe. It's pretty funny. I like the first one I watched. What was I going to say? I watched a movie. I want to say I watched like Power of the Dog or something. Thought it was fine.
Maybe didn't really stick.
I saw it. I don't remember if I had recommended this before or like talked about it before, but there's a hilarious scene where a kid hula hoops to like get his rage out, and it's like worth the price of admission, but it's also
like Dancing in Footloose.
Yeah, exactly. It's 5 minutes into the movie, so like, and it's short, but it's so funny. Nothing will stick with me more than that, and just the name Bronco Henry as like a thing. Someone said, I was hanging out with the other day, said it would be a great like quiplash word. It's just like Bronco Henry, because it's just a word people say a lot in the movie. Yeah, it's great. I thought the movie was good. Probably not. I don't know. It's weird. Like, I liked it. Is it better than like Dune? I don't think so. But like, it's different. But like, I don't know. It was good. I also I read a lot of comics. Nothing too exciting that needs to be reported on. Excuse me. Although one thing I have been reading more of is Moon Knight. So I was reading some of the Warren Ellis Moon Knight. Warren Ellis, bad person, very bad, but also this Moon Knight is good. For book club, I was reading Doctor Strange. We're reading Doctor Strange books. So reading The Oath, which is very good by Brian K. Vaughan, which is like, I'd say most people would say like the best Doctor Strange story. And then also God of Magic by Donny Cates, which is very fun from a couple of years ago, where Loki is the Sorcerer Supreme. I've only read a couple of those, but I'm very, very much into them. But my big rec, and the one that I'm actually very confident in, I'm like, everybody should watch this. Have any of you guys watched or heard of Severance?
I've heard of it.
No.
It's got Adam Scott, right?
That's right. Yes, it is on Apple TV Plus, and it's by Ben Stiller. I know he directed an episode, and I'm pretty sure he wrote it or like was one of the big showrunners or something. But yeah, it stars Adam Scott, John Turturro,
Transformers' own John Turturro.
Transformers
Batman's
own John Turturro. That's
Batman's
right.
own? Sorry.
The Batman, Transformers, all the best movies. He is in there. Christopher Walken shows up a little later in the game. Who's the other one? Oh, Zach Cherry, the guy who's like, do a flip, Spider-Man. He's in there, and he's good. But it's a movie or show. 6 episodes currently. I have a feeling there's at least one more I saw on the thing. I'm not sure how many there will be, but I feel like there has to be at least 2. About a man who is able to... Wait, so DJ, have you heard of this at all?
No.
Oh, okay. So here's the premise. There's a company named Lumen you could work for, just like a company, kind of like an Amazon or whatever. And one of the things that they do that is something it seems like they have developed is the idea of a severance, which is you have part of your brain broken so that you kind of can't remember what happened at work while you're there, and you can't remember what happened at home while you're at work. So you put on your work clothes, not only put on your work clothes, so like you take off all your important identifying stuff, you get in the elevator, and you go down to work, and then like your brain has like a brain blast, and then you're kind of a different person. So it's about the existential horror of working in an office, and it is really good. I don't want to say exactly what the themes are in terms of like what the show is trying to say about like office life.
Okay.
Obviously, with that premise, it's trying to say that it's cool and good, and everyone should do it.
It's so interesting how it gets at so many things that it's like, oh fuck yeah, do that show, and then it does it, and you're like, hell yeah, like yeah, it very well may be.
On?
What'd you say, DJ?
What's the show on? Like what streaming service?
Apple TV Plus. So
okay.
after you're finished with your Ted Lasso and your after parties,
I know,
and your Macbeth and your Jon Stewart and whatever, watch this because it's so good. Adam Scott is great in it, but also just like the execution, it feels like a little Squid Game in the beginning because it's got that kind of like, it's got that eeriness that comes from people around you being like, oh, hello, congratulations on being ready to work, hooray, like,
right.
But there's so much more to it than that, and like it's I just love it, and like yeah, I feel like I know a couple people that watch this, but I don't think it's quite caught on as much as I think it should. And maybe there's stuff about it that I'm just not seeing that's not great, but like the big plot moves about how this kind of gets at like workers and their, how they should behave and stuff. It's great. So cannot recommend that enough. Yeah. Anybody got anything to plug, DJ?
Yeah. Roses and Rejections. We just wrapped up, Clayton's season of The Bachelor.
Best season ever?
Oh my God. So like amazing season of television. He's awful.
No,
like,
no.
Great season of television. Very good return to form. Next season of The Bachelorette, we are having 2 bachelorettes at the same time.
Oh my God, that's every man's dream.
Whoa.
Bad joke. Classic Office Space. My head is in the office mode.
So yeah,
great.
I think we're moving more toward the multiple lead format, kind of like your Joe Millionaire, your F-Boy Island kind of deal. So I think it's good. I think that'll shake up the format. They did this one time before, but it was actually terrible. I can't believe they did this. But they started with 2 bachelorettes, and night 1, the men had to decide which bachelorette would move forward as, like, the bachelorette for the season.
It feels like it's kind of missing. Like, that doesn't feel good.
No, it was, I mean, this was like 7 years ago, so like women mattered way less in society, so like that's why they were able to, I guess.
It just doesn't seem like the most interesting way to do it. Like, you don't want to just get rid of one immediately. That's the producer's job.
Front load your gimmick so that the interesting part of that season is gone immediately, and then it's just a regular season for the rest of it.
And everybody's like, man, I think Jennifer would have been cool, though. I guess we'll never know. Although, I do think it would be kind of cool if you made the guys choose, and there was a little bit of, like, game theory. Like, I think I can fall in love with Deborah, but there's too many men in her little pool, so I'm going to give a shot with, like, Jennifer or whatever. That'd be fun. That's kind of like what that fucking F-Boy Island show was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly it. Yeah, we wrapped up with that. So now we're for episodes every other week. Our next episode, we're going to be covering Love Is Blind Season 2, which I mentioned in my Rex is amazing and everyone should watch. But yeah, if you guys want to, if you're listening along, catch up with Love Is Blind Season 2. I seriously, guys, I can't recommend it enough. Like,
no.
I know there's only, like, a certain segment of the population that watches reality television, and, like Nando, you, like, watch some reality television, but not all of it, but, like, and then there's Diggins, who watches none of it, and then I watch a lot of it, so we're actually a good, like, microcosm between the three of us, but, like, seriously, man, Love Is Blind Season 2 is so good. It's so, you wouldn't believe the people they got. You wouldn't believe it.
Here's the question. If I start watching it, will I immediately go, like, wow, she's weird, he's weird, she's weird, or will it take some time?
There are some, you'll pick it up instantly. You're like,
okay,
wow, that guy, I need to follow his journey.
So if I'm not interested from minute 1, I should just turn it off?
Yes.
Or not like minute 1, but like episode 1?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, if I'm like, I didn't really like Love Is Blind Season 1, maybe there's something inherent to the premise that I just don't enjoy. But if you're like, well, the characters are really what makes it, and if I spend an episode with the characters, I'm like, I don't think any of them are interesting, then it's not for me. But if I spend one and I go, oh, this is better, That's all.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess if you watch it, you're like, just they all seem uninteresting, and like I want to say like maybe try to episode 2. If by episode 2, then no, like jump ship. Like that's what I would say anyway. If you get through 2 episodes and you're like not for me, then the rest of the season won't go well for you. But I think it's clear pretty early. Like I don't know how they find these people, but they got people who just have no shame whatsoever. Like they'll just say anything. And I guess that's where the bar is going with these shows, but, like, man, it's crazy to watch 2 people with no shame get together and fucking get married. These people are going to get married. I know it's probably a sham wedding.
In our society anymore,
Like, I know it's probably like a theatrical wedding. Like, it's not real, but like still it's even just these people are gonna date. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Even if it's like they're gonna get married, so what is it? They're gonna sign a paper and then do something else, either sign a different paper to make that first paper knock out or hang out for a while. It's one or the other. It's not like they have to kill each other or something permanent.
They have to move to a country where divorce is illegal afterwards.
There you go. Now you got it.
Oh, man. Well, anyway. So I'm taking up way too much airtime, but check it.
Well, guys, remember, if you listen to Roses and Rejections, you're listening to what DJ thinks is the equivalent of an hour of him and Michelle making out. So, if that helps you get interested, just think of it that way.
That is true.
That's pretty accurate.
Oh my god! All podcasts are that pretty much. When you really get down to it, it's just all the hosts doing something instead of making out. Unless there's a podcast where the hosts do just make out, but I haven't seen it yet.
I'm sure there's one at least.
Yeah. That would be so great. Oh my god, just every week, like an hour-long podcast where the same 2 people just make out. Nothing, they don't say anything. It's just the sound of like, oh my god, so pretty. So funny. And it's just like, and it starts with like, all right, this episode is sponsored by Toastbox. Okay, Toastbox, get your toast.
Is that just a toaster?
I think they send
it's a box
toast.
of toast.
Yeah, they send you special toast, but either way, and then the end is just like an out song, like this is a for kissing production. Yeah. Anyway, sounds great. Someone should do it. You could just use the sound of Ryan Reynolds as always hold on to kissing in this movie. Loop that for about 2 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, but internet detectives would crack that case in an instant.
That would be bad. You got to put it on like TikTok where there's no copyright law. I don't know if there's any podcasts on TikTok yet, but this is the place. What about you, Diggins? You got anything to plug?
Just my usuals. I have my newsletter, a little perspective.substack.com, and I stream sometimes at twitch.tv/thisisanodname.
Cool. I was going to say, for me, I have a video. I'm almost finished with, I'll finish it tonight, about the X-Men villains. I got a lot of work done on that. It's going to be great. It's like an hour long, lots of cameo voices and stuff. It's cool. What was I going to say? I have another video that is just going to Nebulous. It's like a Nebula exclusive video about why the Juggernaut in X-Men 3 isn't so bad, and I think it's pretty good. I think
is it because he says
case. Bitch? That is part of it. Not why he says that, but I do think, I'll say this, I like that they embraced some of the inherent dumbness of and the silliness of the Juggernaut. Like there's one bit before that, so like the fact that he says bitch is stupid, but the bit before that when he runs into the building and knocks over a bunch of guys, they added and it's so clunkily put in there, but the sound of a bowling ball knocking over some pins, I love that. That movie needed so much more of that. But anyway, movie's good. No, that movie stinks. What was I going to say? So that video comes out. That one will be on Nebula, but then the other one will be on Twitter or on YouTube, same day, and I'll tweet about it.
Not just Twitter. It'll be uploaded on Twitter in 2-minute chunks.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be 800 tweets or whatever. I was also going to say, I forgot to recommend this, but I do want to recommend it real quick because I forgot. I knew there was a movie I watched. I swear to God, this is what happened. I went on Twitter. Someone put a tweet out about the woman who the LAPD in the 1920s tried to convince her son, or convince her was her son, but it wasn't. And then they made her go to a mental hospital. It's an insane story. I didn't know it was real. I knew there was a movie that seemed like it was kind of that. I went to the Twitter replies. It was like that movie, Changeling. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen this movie. Didn't know it was about that. Let's watch it. I watched that one morning. Then Angelina Jolie. Interesting movie. Not amazing, but an insane story. Horrible title. I couldn't get over how awful of a title Changeling is.
That makes sense.
It made you think it's about an alien or a magic monster or something.
It makes perfect sense if you know what a changeling is.
I guess, but they also don't use the word changeling. They don't... What is a changeling?
So a changeling is an old concept of, fairies would sometimes steal human children, and they would leave behind a creature in its place that was called a changeling, that looked like a human, but wasn't. Oh,
right. That happens in one of the Hellboys, right? The new one, I feel like that comes up. So that does make sense. But yeah, that's way, that is not referenced or explained or anything. And the trailer made it seem like this woman was actually kind of crazy or something. It seems like it didn't seem quite as much of a conspiracy as, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and, she's a mother, so she can tell. Anyway, fun movie. And yeah, wild story. But yeah, so there's that. But besides that, just watch my videos. What are we doing next week? We don't know.
I don't think we know.
Nope.
We could do another Twilight.
Could do that. Do we have anything coming up? I guess Sonic is April. Morbius is April.
Morbius we gotta do the Morbius lead up.
I mean, Twilight is kind of a Morbius lead up.
Very
Vampires.
True. Very true. Has Jared Leto been in another vampire movie that I forgot about?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not doing Suicide Squad again. That's for damn sure.
That
stupid WeWork show. Here's the thing about the Carol Baskin show, and the show about WeWork, and the show about Anna Delvey, and the show about the Elizabeth Holmes. We have these. They made documentaries of them. The people are mostly still alive. We could just see them. Why do we need... we make videos like movies about things that are from the past, like a Changeling, for instance, like a true story. But like, yeah, I watched all of these as documentaries, or I just didn't because fuck Tiger King. But like all the rest of them, I know what happened. So weird. Anyway, yeah, what was he saying? Oh yeah, so he's in that WeWork show and he looks like a vampire, but he is not a vampire in it, unless it goes in a really interesting direction. Then I might want to watch it. Yeah, maybe. What if we told our followers to give us a Jared Leto movie or a vampire movie? I don't know.
We could put up a poll. Ooh.
We could, couldn't we?
Yeah. It's always an option.
End up with like Dallas Buyers Club or something like that. We could do House of Gucci.
Yeah, let's do Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah.
Did he win an Oscar for that fucking movie?
I think Matthew McConaughey. Oh, maybe. They might have both gotten Oscars for it. I don't remember. Yeah, Jared Leto's not in that many movies. Can't imagine why. I don't know. Maybe Twilight. That seems fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so either way, either you'll see us talk about it on Twitter, or it'll just show up in your feed. But until then, I've been at Nando Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. We love you.
Woohoo!